What's going on, everybody? GGEN Nation, we are live here in the theater room, episode 50. You're here with your boys, Zuplex, Scythe X,
what up?
the captain, and our host, Spartacris. We got a lot on the docket, bro. Take us out, baby.
Spartacris is here. Yo, what is up? I'm amped. I've been amped all day. I barely was able to work today. We got so much shit to go over today. I have a few people in the chat already. San Diego Comic-Con was this past weekend. This is episode 50, which is a milestone for me. So I already got my drink out. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Salud.
Me too, bro. Water, bowl and basket. Figure it out.
The youngin.
Cheers on that.
Over here. The bowl and basket brand. Don't knock on it. That shit's amazing.
I'm not.
You can see I have the captain here live and in person. And we got just a lot of shit to go over. So first, do you guys want to have any last words? Consider this the weigh-in before the big showdown between Zuplex City and the captain. Let me throw it over to Zuplex since the captain already had his close-up. And give me some last words, some friendly words, maybe some fighting words, but some last words before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's show.
I think we both kind of agreed to keep it civil during the podcast because it's episode 50. We don't want to rain all over your parade and go crazy at the podcast.
All right, Captain.
I will say.
Oh wait, I'm sorry, Zuplex. See, this is what you do. No, but this is what you do. Hold on. I'm going to cut you off real quick. So I've been accused, if anyone's been watching all the streams, the Call of Duties and all that shit, of favoring Zuplex. Mm-hmm. I've been accused. People telling me that I lean his way and whatever. I wish I could remember the name of the guy who said it, but he wasn't even good enough on the Call of Duty stream to show up on the kill count. So I really, forget his name. He's one of John's peons. But I will officially say it here, Zuplex. I love you, my man. But I'm throwing my hefty. You get a little more of me in the camera today. My hefty weight behind the captain. I think he's gonna pull out the win today. And now I'm gonna give the captain some time to talk because Zuplex, you take these pauses and you fuck me up, man. I love you, but you fuck me up, Captain. What do you want to say to Zuplex?
Yeah. So I just arrived. I was snorting asbestos, and I showed up. I'm ready to go. Zuplex and I, we never agreed to be cordial because it was episode 50. That was a bold-faced lie, so I'm going to call him out on that. But I'll tell you what, though. I like it. I'm going to refrain from any jokes and whatever. All I'm going to say is this. I appreciate the fact that Zuplex jumped on and accepted the challenge. Thank you, bro. I'm excited about the fact that we're doing it for charity. I'm excited that I get to do it with someone that I consider to be a friend, for a great cause, and whoever wins, I think that the charity of our causes are going to get a nice payday. I know that tomorrow there's going to be a big announcement on where you can donate, when it's getting started, what's going to happen, and really, Zuplex, thanks for accepting. You do suck at pretty much everything you do. But tonight, I'm hoping that you can bring the heat at least for one podcast. Thanks.
Solid.
Real quick.
Solid.
We got a couple of people in the chat. Buttersworth, as always, man, I appreciate having you in here. Dark Roots Creations already put hashtag Team Zuplex. So you got a fan over here.
There we go, baby.
She's on your side. She's one of my coworkers.
That's crazy.
And then Buttersworth, thanks for letting me know. It sounds good. All right.
Big Pat. Zuplex going to get suplexed.
Oh, I'm
going to be honest with you, Pat. There's no shot I'm picking him up, but not at least without a hernia.
Hold on,
I'll tell you that.
Hope picked up.
I was waiting for another fat joke.
No shot.
Hope picked up Andre. So
no shot. I'm picking this big boy up. At least unless I want to get a hernia. But I can tell you right now. I can tell you just based on this name, Dark Roots Creations, 100% a bot. And definitely created by a Gmail or a Yahoo account by Zuplex. Nobody likes them. Let's go.
I'm going to hear it tomorrow at work from her.
Let's go.
So let's get into it. This whole episode is about San Diego Comic-Con. I know we all watched. We talked about it basically over the whole weekend. I figured before we get into the Marvel stuff, because that's going to take up the big portion of the show, we got Big Pat already said hashtag Team Captain. So we have a little battle going on in the chat. Let's talk about some of the non-comic book stuff. All right, because there was a few of them out there. The first one, hold on, let me open this one up here. We got John Wick. This is really the only non-comic book anything that I wanted to talk about. What I mean, are you guys as excited as I am for John Wick? Because I was fucking amped when I saw it.
Can't wait.
Dude, John Wick's gonna be insane, man. It just every time a movie comes out and you think, all right, it can't be as good as the last one. It just like they just keep going and going and going and remaining consistent. So I can't 100%. See this one being any different.
100%. My favorite moment of the trailer, if you guys all watched it, was when our man Keanu had that dude's head on like the table and was just smacking him with the nunchucks over and over again.
Yeah,
I fucking love these movies. I agree with you, Scythe. Every time they come out with a new one, I'm like, are they gonna top the last one? And they find a way. So anyone who missed it, there's a John Wick trailer out there. I don't know, Scythe and Zuplex, I know you did a bunch of trailer reactions. Did you do a reaction to John Wick?
Not for John Wick, no.
We didn't get a chance to.
So maybe we'll do a little breakdown of the John Wick one at some point. Maybe you might see the captain and I doing a breakdown. I don't know. We'll a little hint.
I will say this. Like, John Wick movies, I look at them like The Expendables, like Fast and Furious, where it's just like a good time at the movie theater. Not a lot of like too much thinking involved. Let's see a bunch of people get killed. Let's see Keanu be Keanu. Let's see them do the crazy shit we want to see them. And that trailer showed me exactly that. So I'm excited for it.
Super excited.
I can tell you that the difference for me, like, I don't want to bash you up on like the Expendables thing. The Expendables to me is awful, but but the listen, I get what you're saying. Like you're watching it, it's action packed, whatever. But I can tell you that for some of us, like obviously everyone knows I'm not a big gun guy, but to see Keanu, obviously the training he takes into learning the guns, the way he holds them, the way he reloads, the action scenes, the things like that. It's nuts, dude. It's really on a whole nother level. And it's an action movie, but I can tell you how much I love it. I can sit watching John Wick with my wife and get turned on by watching a John Wick movie.
Wait,
that's how great the movies are.
Murder boner.
That's how great the movies are.
Though? Is it Keanu in that sleek black suit?
No, dude. It doesn't matter the scene. There could be missing parts, whatever. When the movie's done, we're like, yup. It's on. Like it just, dude. The movies are legendary, and I'll tell you, I'm happy Keanu found another role to really reprise his career.
Yep.
Right, and
100%.
and it's which by the way has had some sneaky good films in it, but people are really really hard on him. After obviously him playing Neo, and then after that there wasn't so much. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. Much prior to that, they look at him as like a dumb act, but it's just he's got some real good work in his portfolio, and I'm glad he had a chance to really redeem himself with John Wick because it's been phenomenal.
I've always thought that Keanu Reeves is he's like the worst actor to be in a popular movie over and over and over again. People want to talk shit about his acting, but yet almost every movie he makes, just kills it. So good for him. And that's really the only other Comic-Con announcement, I guess, that wasn't a comic book thing, or I guess it was, but it wasn't a Marvel or DC thing. I didn't even pull up an image for it. They basically gave us more information on the Walking Dead, Rick Grimes, and Michonne movie. And they also we just got a trailer today of that new Tales of the Walking Dead, or Stories of the Walking Dead with Terry Crews. Me personally, I'm like over it. I've been over it for a while.
I'm over it.
I felt like we weren't going to talk about it that much anyway.
Completely checked out. I don't even care.
Yeah.
See ya.
Just let it die.
Yeah.
Just let it die is what I think.
I don't know anybody that's still watching. I don't even know if that show is still on, but if it is, I don't know anybody that's still watching.
Dude, not only is it still on, the final season, we're on the final season, season 11, part 3. They broke it up into 3 parts. That's how just lost I think they are with what they want to do with the show. So I can't wait for it to end, honestly. I was a huge fan, but I'm way past it now. But all right. Yeah. Let's get into something I guess people want to hear more of, I guess, the DC movies. And specifically, there was only 2 of them that were announced.
I was waiting for
lack thereof.
Listen, we might...
I'm sorry, I had to look at
anyone watching the show.
I had to look quickly at you.
No.
Because in my mind, I'm like, what sort of bullshit is this guy trying to sell?
No,
what everyone's waiting for, the DC films.
DC.
Okay, bro. Yeah, drugs are very
says he
bad.
still watches Walking Dead. I feel sorry for you, Buttersworth, that you're still hanging on to that thread. But let's move on because we're kind of over that one. I put up one image of 2 characters in the DC world, And this is the only image I needed for the entire DC announcement. I guess I could have gotten Sandman, but these are the two movies, the trailers we got.
They didn't even announce Sandman with the DC panel.
Right. That's why I didn't even pull it up. So, you know,
didn't even.
What are your thoughts, Scythe? What are your thoughts on the DC stuff that's coming out?
I loved what I saw from Shazam. Black Adam, not so much. I want to like Black Adam, but it just seems like another Rock movie, and I think Zuplex said that in a previous video. But I can't agree more with that. So it's just I'm hoping the best thing about Black Adam to me is Dr. Fate. He looks awesome. Yeah. The costume's awesome. His abilities seem awesome. Very Doctor Strange-ish, and I'm excited to see what he does. Not so much what The Rock's doing. And but Shazam looked awesome.
I agree. Zuplex, I know you have some things to say about it, so why don't you go fire it up?
Yeah, I mean, first off, we've talked about it before, but Black Adam. First off, the first look that they showed us was just a recut of the trailer.
Right,
it wasn't anything new. It was no new footage whatsoever. It was a little couple extended scenes that were from the trailer, but you didn't give us any direction on where it's going. We still don't know story-wise like what they're planning on doing. And it's just the Rock and cosplay. Like, they don't even make an attempt to give him the pointy ears, the hair, nothing that looks like Black Adam. It's just the Rock in a Black Adam costume.
Right.
Like, that's all we're getting. And
I couldn't agree more.
I mean, will it be action-packed? Probably. Like, will it be a good time at the movies? Maybe. But, where DC's headed right now, like, the Shazam trailer looked good. But again, like, the last Shazam movie was pretty decent. I liked it. I think they're going to lean too far into the Shazam family this time around, and I think that might be get a little confusing. Maybe get a little bit too much. That, like, you got to give all these characters their own due in a movie. Especially the second time out. So who knows? I think DC's kind of in a tailspin right now, and. Yeah. Like, they've made some good moves on the internal side, right? So they put Jim Lee in charge of everything, but they also saddled Jim Lee with the biggest clusterfuck of a universe to deal with. So now I think that's why they didn't show a lot at Comic-Con. I think they just pulled back the reins, showed what they have. And we got nothing from Flashpoint. Flashpoint's done.
We know two reasons why they didn't show a lot at Comic-Con: Ezra Miller and Amber Heard. They're not going to even touch those characters anymore. I'll tell you what.
But they've spent how much money on those movies?
Well, I mean, the movies are still coming out.
Eventually. The movies still got to come out.
What's interesting about the Shazam trailer is they actually show Flash and Batfleck in the trailer, and it just makes me think of, like, is Flashpoint the legit end to the Snyderverse? Like, is that like the final movie and then they're just gonna completely reset and start over?
I honestly think that they're gonna release what they've made so far, try to make whatever they can back, and then just go, all right, we're starting from scratch. We're gonna focus on Black Adam.
Right.
The Rock. Here's my problem. Here's what I have to say about Black Adam.
Why show Batfleck though in the Shazam movie?
Well, just to kind of, because that's one thing people liked. But I'm gonna tell you right now,
it was just a cut from a Snyder movie anyway. It wasn't even like he was in the movie.
But
it was a cut from Superman versus Batman.
Here's my problem with Black Adam. And it is The Rock, but it stems off of things he keeps saying. In his interviews, all he keeps talking about is the Black Adam verse. Not the DC universe, not the DCEU, none of that stuff. It's the Black Adam verse. Everything I've read or seen or heard from people who were at San Diego Comic-Con talk about how the trailer and the whole presentation made it seem like the JSA has been around for a while and that they're acting as the current Justice League, essentially. So they've already replaced the Justice League to give The Rock basically his own kind of universe to play in. And he's already planning on building out a universe when we have zero idea what happened to the previous characters we liked. This is why I think that they're going to release what they release. They're going to basically say, all right, Flash is done, Batman's done, Superman's done, and they're just going to give us the Black Adam verse, and it's just going to build out from there. And I'm not that excited about it, to be honest. I agree. I think it's just another Rock movie. So,
I mean, this is what we've talked about. I think we're sort of like beating on a dead horse here, but I guess there's still like 19 people left in the entire world that like DC, so we'll beat on a dead horse until there's not 19 people left. But
until we're down to one.
The fact of the matter is, Black Adam is the epitome of why DC will always suck.
Yep.
Instead of a true solo movie and building up a character that we can all fall in love with, even if they have their own iteration of it, even if we don't get the pointy ears and he doesn't look as real like Egyptian or Middle Eastern as we'd like him to look, right? At the end of the day, I think we can all make do with a character that looks different if we buy into the character.
Yes.
But what did we get? We got The Rock fused with Dr. Fate and 7 other people instead of a solo, right? And what happened with a Shazam movie that a little kiddish, but we still kind of dug it.
Yeah.
You get a second Shazam movie in a microwave. The Shazam family, like Zuplex said.
Yes.
So instead of continuing to go down a path that people can buy into, and once again, you would think this is why DC as a company sucks big donkey, you know what. The reason is because you had 15 years of watching Marvel, and you're saying to yourself, what did they do right? Every solo movie, they gave us a snippet of a new character, and then they gave us a cutscene at the end of the movie introducing something else that we could love. What happens every single time we get 5 solo movies in the MCU, 6 solo movies? Justice League. Batman vs. Superman. Everything is microwaved together. There's the one movie they gave us that we liked was Wonder Woman, and they effed it up with the second one.
Yeah, they ruined it.
So it's like we can never just get something that people can hold on to, and even like Aquaman, the first one, I was like, you know what? I kind of dig it. I can go with it.
Right.
You know what's going to happen.
I liked Aquaman.
I liked it.
Yeah,
But
I thought Aquaman was good.
You know exactly what's going to happen in the second. You know what's going to happen. So the fact is I'm not interested in watching any of it until I can see reviews that I buy into and say, you know what, maybe it's worth looking at.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, Big
And
Pat.
to your point,
Oh, go ahead, Zuplex.
go ahead. And to your point, like Aquaman, we got a standard standalone Aquaman movie. There was no extra people thrown in.
Correct.
You know, it was all people from the Aquaman universe. It was villains and you know, Amber Heard and all that stuff, and like Mira and all that shit. And there was no other heroes jumping in, like the JSA didn't try and come and stop him. There was none of that. And it was a success. Like, you know, it wasn't everybody's favorite movie, but it was good. Everybody liked it. There was, you know, it made decent money at the box office. So, like, why not stick with that strategy? I don't understand, man. It's just, who knows?
Because always trying to play catch up.
Yeah,
That's it.
Big Pat says in the chat that Shazam looked bad, to be honest, not trying too hard to be a comedy. And Buttersworth says that the Fast and Furious reference in the Shazam trailer was the best part of the whole thing.
I mean, I did laugh out loud at that.
I laughed at that too, but someone in the GGEN group, I forget who it was, commented on the trailer itself and said that at least it's a superhero that seems to be having fun being a superhero. And I agree with that.
Yeah.
My only issue is that we haven't really seen enough good superhero movies where they're serious to understand that the fun thing is kind of out of the ordinary. We've only had one or two. You know what I mean?
The thing is, from a DC side of it, right, where every movie is dark and gritty, and
Yes,
this is the lad. Having something like Shazam does lighten the mood a little bit and bring us something.
I just feel like they haven't earned it.
and Shazam's colors are also brighter. We've talked about this too. You know, like in the MCU, going through all of the characters, they're all vibrant. When you go over to the DCEU, you see it's the whole tone. Everything is dark. You know, so you're.
Yeah, they took the shader bar and just moved it all.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. They literally were just like, okay, we're gonna. But, dude, even the villains, right? Thanos was still even like a brighter villain. He wasn't like when you look at Joker or the new Riddler, they're all very dark. They're sadistic. They're plotting to do things. Thanos is like, he's a big purple guy. Yeah. So it's just a different vibe for sure. Listen, at the end of the day, I just think, like any good corporation, any good business, if you're not run very well from the top, you are not going to look good at the bottom whatsoever.
100%.
And the MCU with Kevin Feige is run amazing from the top. And therefore, he gets the best directors. He gets the best actors and actresses. He gets the best storylines. And the DCEU is run like shit from the top. Hopefully, it changes now, right? Alluding to what Zuplex said. Hopefully, it changes now. But the directors, the actors, actresses, about Gal Gadot, I mean, I got to give a shout out to my fellow Jew. Love you, your smoke show. I mean, you're so sexy. But I'm just saying, like, from there, I'm getting at. Just subpar.
No, you're right.
I think we had spoken about a while back that, like, DC needed to find that Kevin Feige. And I really do think that Jim Lee is the guy that can do that going forward. You know what I'm saying? But I think he's starting from so far behind the 8 ball with what he was left with that they're going to go through years of just cleaning up this mess and trying to recoup money on lost projects, Yeah. And he's not going to get a fair shot at it,
Yeah, I think what now that Discovery owns WB and takes over this property, I think they're just letting these movies that were already set in motion just run its course, and then everything's just going to start over.
I agree.
Can I ask you guys a question, though? I know at the San Diego Comic-Con, we saw a lot of, the new phases we got excited about. But my question is, the answer is yes, Dark Roots.
Wait, real quick. Dark Roots says the captain gets turned on by Gal Gadot and Keanu Reeves. Interesting.
Well, it's a little different than that. It's more of like what Keanu Reeves does.
Oh man!
And he likes murder boners.
Absolutely. When there's just chaos, guns, knives, whatever. I don't like them, but I love watching them. And Gal, come on. I mean, is there a human being on Earth? I mean, is there an animal on Earth that doesn't get turned on by this woman? But needless to say, I mean, my question to you, Spartacris, is this:
what's up?
We saw a lot of new phases in the MCU we got excited about, right? You guys talked a lot about it. I know Zuplex and Scythex really did some great reactions to it, and they gave us a massive rundown. I mean, it was like hit after hit. But my question is, you see the MCU maybe, I don't want to say reaching for straws, but now they're getting to the point where they're trying to fuse in a lot of these second-tier characters, third-tier characters. We don't know where they're going, so to speak. Don't you think that this is the perfect time where people are on the fence about the MCU for DC to say, now is our time. Now is our 15-year run. 100%. Now is where we start from the ground up. And I'm talking, what I mean by that is like real, they can copy the movies exact from the MCU just with DC characters. And don't you think people will be like, wow, this is new and fresh?
Yeah. So I know, just speaking to the people in my life.
That was well said.
Speaking to people in my life, I know that a lot of people are not into this whole multiverse. It's called the multiverse saga, but I know people aren't into this, the idea of the different dimensions, different realities. Dark Roots is one of them. I feel like it's confusing for people who aren't like deep into the comics like we are.
She's confused?
I totally agree. What'd you say?
She's confused?
Yeah, she's not confused. She's just not a fan of it.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But I feel like now, I totally agree. Now would be the time for DC to essentially, they should rush to release everything they have. Basically say, okay, Black Adam is our biggest success or whatever. We're going to start here and grow. And then they should lay out a plan. We're going to introduce a new Batman, a new Superman, or bring back Henry Cavill or whatever. The same way Marvel did it. If DC showed up, put it this way, if DC showed up to San Diego Comic-Con Saturday morning, and they basically laid out 3 years of movies.
An actual roadmap.
An actual roadmap.
As Zuplex
I know Zuplex
loves.
hates it, but let's say they call it a phase. They say, listen, we're going to do 3 phases of movies starting now, and these are the movies.
If they call it a phase, I'm out.
Well, maybe they won't call it a phase, right? They'll change the word a little bit. They'll call it a set or something. But if they basically just release, if they gave us the roadmap, I feel like so many people would have not only just clung to the DC part of San Diego Comic-Con, but would have flat out said they won. Just because, to your point, we're at a point now in Marvel where they're introducing characters that are even less known than anything that we've gotten before. And they kind of have to be. I'm not saying it's a bad thing they're doing that, but like people aren't a fan of Miss Marvel. People are not a fan of a lot of the shows, and they're giving us a lot more shows. So right now would have been the time.
I'm just trying to understand.
I agree.
I'm trying to understand in Scythe and Zuplex. I mean, I don't know how you guys will feel about this, but obviously, in my opinion, the two largest attractions in the MCU, the greatest characters in the MCU, even when it came to the Infinity, the Infinity Gauntlet, the Gauntlet, whatever the case may be, is Spider-Man and Wolverine. And we still haven't gotten Wolverine in the MCU, and we got Spider-Man much later on. So what my point is that wouldn't you guys agree? Why not give us the Black Adams? Why not give us every character? And later on, when there is a Doomsday, then Spider-Man, then Batman and Superman come in. You don't always have to lead off with the guys we know. Right. Why can't you leave your Spider-Man and Wolverine till much later and leave everyone on the edge of their seat and say, dude, it's about to come to a head here. We got all these characters. We got Green Lantern. We got Black Adam. We got all these guys.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, bro, what's your first rodeo? You all right? This guy's knocking out his mic. He doesn't even know what he's doing, dude. You okay? How much you have to drink? It's one glass, bro.
Listen, I'm celebrating 50 episodes, my man.
And we can't take this guy anywhere. But, and then later on, when you're about to get to your whatever it is, the climax of your set or phase or whatever the hell they're calling it.
We can't say phase around Zuplex.
I know he gets triggered.
He gets triggered from that.
He starts to twitch. You see him. It's not drugs. It's just DC talk. But then you bring out your big guns. I don't understand why you can't just do that.
They absolutely should do that.
So I agree with your point, but you got to remember something. Marvel didn't have a choice, right? They couldn't start off with Spider-Man and Wolverine because they didn't have the rights to them. Sure, yeah. So they had to find a workaround, and their workaround was making Iron Man basically your linchpin of the entire franchise, and that worked. Listen, if Iron Man 1 doesn't have Favreau and Downey behind it, we don't get the rest of the MCU. It doesn't happen because that movie is on their backs 100%. And I don't think the MCU is as good as it is without them and without Feige at the helm, right? Marvel's done a really good job of making us care about characters that no one gave a shit for a very long time. Well said, yep. Iron Man was a C-list character. He was a C-list character from the comics. He wasn't like the linchpin of Marvel Comics ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody knew who the Guardians were.
No, Guardians of the Galaxy were a joke. They stopped making those comics back in 1984. So they're very good at making us care about these characters that you don't necessarily aren't necessarily known to everybody.
Right.
C-listers.
Yeah, C-listers. I mean, basically, they've done a really good job of making us care about those characters, and that was out of necessity because they didn't own the rights to their big guns. Their Fantastic Four, the Wolverine, Spider-Man. They didn't own the rights to any of them, so they had to find workarounds. Right?
Mm-hmm.
DC owns the rights to all of their characters, so I understand them wanting to throw the big money makers out there always, right? Your Superman, your Batman, because those are always going to make money. I've said it before, the three characters that no matter what will always make money are Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man.
Right.
Everybody else can be hit or miss,
Yeah.
So but they could bring in these lesser known characters and try and start to build around them. I just think they're afraid to because they've always relied on Batman and Superman.
Yeah, but the smartest thing they could have done, DC already destroys Marvel as far as TV shows are concerned. And I would say even now they still are beating Marvel. Their TV shows tend to be much better representations of their comic characters. So what they should have done is just taken the hit shows, The Flash, Green Arrow, and all them, and turn that into the DCEU, bring them to the big screen. Maybe you keep Superman and Batman for your movies. You don't bring them to the shows. But that would have been the smarter thing to do instead of trying to separate characters and have multiple flashes and all this kind of crap. You know, but it's a little too late for that. I kind of agree that this new guy is gonna take his time. He's gonna, you know, kind of come up with a plan, hopefully, and they're gonna just start from scratch. Buttersworth says that, in his opinion, Kevin Smith should be the Feige for the DCEU. And Buttersworth, I might kick you out of the chat for saying that because that might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know which part of Kevin Smith's work would lead anybody to believe that, you know, he's now like the Kevin Feige.
He did direct a couple Flash episodes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He also wrote the first version of what later on became Superman Returns.
Yeah, so I don't want him anywhere near it. And unless I have him saying something to the effect of Snoochie Boochie, I don't want him anywhere near those movies. So thanks for the opinion.
I don't think Buttersworth's talking about as a director. I think he's talking about as like the
mind, creative mind. Yeah, but we got his creative mind. I'd like to see a creative mind. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So anyway, let's talk about the Marvel stuff because
talk to me.
This DC stuff is just making me depressed. So I have up on the screen basically all of the announcements from the SDCC.
We got to go in chronological order here.
I figure, yeah.
We're going in phase order.
In phase order.
Phase order.
I know you don't like that word, but we're going in phase order. Let's start with, I guess, what's most recent. So they gave us a brand new trailer for She-Hulk. Oh wait, Dark Roots Creations. I've had too much whiskey. Dude. Says agree with Chris about DC TV show characters. I would have been more interested in that over teaming over another Batman and Superman. Yeah. I totally agree. But now, speaking of TV shows, we got a brand new trailer for She-Hulk, and in this trailer, not only do we get a lot more Hulk, regular Bruce Banner Hulk, I think She-Hulk looks a lot better. They got her CG down a lot better. And then on top of that...
It was still a little wonky to me.
Yeah, but it's going to be...
In a couple places, but it's better than the first
Way
trailer.
Better.
It was.
But on top of all that, though, we got our first look at Daredevil in the costume, not just Matt Murdock, actual Daredevil, yellow and red costume. He's officially in the show. I mean, we see him. We knew Matt Murdock was here in No Way Home, and now we know Daredevil comes back in She-Hulk. Zuplex, I know you're the comic guy, so I'm going to throw it over to you. What ramifications do you think this is going to have on Daredevil, on Hulk, and just on the future of the MCU?
I mean, so they're obviously trying to introduce, you know, they're doing the fourth wall break thing, which is big in She-Hulk comics. They're doing the sex positive thing, which is big in She-Hulk comics. Matt Murdock, obviously another lawyer. In the Marvel universe, so it makes sense that he would show up in She-Hulk Attorney at Law. You know what I mean?
What was interesting though, I thought he would show up as a lawyer, not as Daredevil.
He still might. Still might.
I mean,
I didn't expect that in the trailer though, is what I'm saying.
Rumors are that we're gonna get Vincent D'Onofrio back as the Kingpin also in She-Hulk.
That would be interesting.
Listen, I'm all for more Daredevil. I'm all for more Charlie Cox as Daredevil. I love, if you've never watched the Daredevil Netflix show that's now on Disney Plus.
What are you doing?
It's probably one of the best things that Marvel's ever put out.
It's the best Marvel show that they've ever made.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I mean, do you think, Zuplex, do you think that they had to show Daredevil the first She-Hulk reaction, she essentially got canceled immediately. I mean, the first trailer, she definitely did. So my question to you is, I'll throw it your way first. Obviously, you're bringing us through it. Do you think they showed Daredevil in the trailer to essentially like get everybody more interested than what we saw the first time?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a marketing tactic at its finest. You know what I mean? You throw Daredevil jumping in the black and yellow costume. Like that, it's going to get more people hyped about the show. It's going to get more people watching the show. I think they realized after the Miss Marvel debacle that, you know, they really have to start giving us more surprises and more like bigger moments throughout the show and not wait until the last episode. You know,
I will say though, I got to defend Miss Marvel though. That was a good show. It was much better than people give it credit for.
I mean, I hated it up until the last two episodes.
Agreed.
It redeemed itself. It definitely redeemed itself, but like the first 4 episodes
It finished strong.
It finished very strong. Finished very strong.
It's always good to finish strong.
Yeah.
Yep.
So after She-Hulk, right? She-Hulk is 6 episodes, right? After She-Hulk, we got the end of Phase 4. Earmuffs, Zuplex. We got the end of Phase 4. You want
to save Wakanda Forever for the end here?
No.
It was the biggest announcement.
We're going right in order, my man. We got so many things. Okay, we're going right in order. This year, in November, we're ending Phase 4 with Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. Now, I know you guys are going to bust my chops, but I definitely shed a tear or two during that trailer. I thought it was powerful. You know, I wasn't a big fan of the first Black Panther. I thought it was a little slow. I thought the CG at the end was a little wonky. But, you know, it was entertaining. It had its moments. But this trailer blew me out of the water. So, Scythe, what did you think?
I thought it was awesome. It was interesting that they showed us so much in so little time. I wasn't expecting to get all of that. Like, they were showing us Atlanteans coming in, like Namor, like everything. They gave us everything in this one trailer. Mm-hmm. And what was interesting was the dialogue felt very much real, as I'm sure it was 100%. When they were filming it. It felt real and not just a line they were saying.
Yeah.
So
I totally agree.
Just from the trailer alone, the performance you can tell is going to be super authentic, and it's going to be truly like a memorial celebration for Boseman and the Black Panther character, as well as setting us up for the future of Wakanda.
So, what do you think? I'll start with you. Theory time. Who do you think is in the Black Panther suit at the end of the movie? At the end of the trailer, there, black and yellow suit. Remember that, or black and gold? I should say.
So me and Zuplex went back and forth about this, and he thinks
if you haven't yet,
crazy.
Scythe and Zuplex came out with a reaction for the Black Panther trailer, so check it out on the YouTube channel. Sorry, go ahead, Scythe.
He thought I was crazy mentioning it. I think this is Killmonger.
That's why I want it to be.
That's my fantasy, island pick right there. It's Killmonger. Because if you think about it, right, the Atlanteans are being disturbed because somebody is, going into the ocean. And I guess what we can think is whoever's in the ocean and doing the deep sea diving with those big, scuba suits that they had in the trailer, they're probably looking for vibranium off the coast of Wakanda. Yeah. And it disturbs the Atlantean people, right?
Right.
What if it disturbs the body of Killmonger, who was, as told at the end of the movie, he wanted to be put out to sea.
Yes.
His body is out there.
But we didn't see it, though. We didn't see it.
No, but think about this. Like, to resurrect from the I can't think of it. What was the astral plane or whatever their afterlife was? You needed the body. The body surfaces because they disturb it, and all of a sudden, and to build on this, when Angela Bassett's doing her monologue, right? She lost everything. Her whole family is dead, right? Her whole family's gone. That means Shuri is dying at some point. So maybe she's going to that astral plane to pull Killmonger back because they have his body to help them defeat the Atlanteans.
Maybe, but
that's my my wild theory.
No, because you're in essence, your theory would be saying that they don't have the bodies of any of their family members, but they have the bodies of everybody. So they would essentially have to have been disintegrated. You're saying that the last body left is Killmonger, that somehow whatever they remember, they're gonna lay Chadwick Boseman to rest so he could go to the plane of the kings or whatever. They're gonna rest all these people. So that theory, if that's what you're hinging on, is trash.
Straight trash.
But I just simply quite frankly, I just think it's his sister. That's it.
It very well could be, but
it's
I don't know.
Sure. I mean, listen.
I mean, they got to follow the comics, right?
Right.
Wade?
She's the Black Panther in the comics.
I mean, it makes the most sense.
Wait, Zuplex, real quick. What page did Shuri become the Black Panther?
Oh, that's actually Black Panther issue number.
You should have said issue. Go fuck yourself. You missed it. You missed your opportunity.
He always misses his boat.
Because I'm going to show you guys that I actually know what the fuck I'm talking about.
You don't, so you should just pass it right on. This is almost like Scythes reaching at Killmonger in the ocean. Okay, boys, on to the next.
I have a theory.
Wait.
I have a theory about who's,
I have one more theory.
drilling in the ocean, though.
Last theory.
Wait, hold on.
It's
Zuplex,
probably
go
going to
ahead,
be the
Zuplex.
same as mine. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I have a theory that ship that's drilling for vibranium off the coast of Wakanda is Latverian and is going to be run by Doctor Doom.
That's what I was going to say.
I hope. I don't think they're going to show Doctor Doom. I don't think they're going to
That's
show
strong.
him. It'll be his company or
that's
strong. It'll be something
yeah.
that links to
That's
him, for
strong.
sure.
That's strong.
Yeah, and I think we're leading towards Doom Wars.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It was, that ship who is funded by Doctor Doom.
Yeah. I will say, I do hope, besides, I agree with you. I hope it is Killmonger. I want it to be Killmonger, but my theory is not as out there as yours. I feel like we didn't see the body die. We know that he was stabbed, but I mean, it's the Marvel. People get stabbed and shot and blown up and whatever, they come back to life. As far as we know, after he fell over on the cliff, T'Challa brought him to prison. They held on to him for a while. I don't know what's going to happen, how they're going to explain the fact that T'Challa is not there anymore, but almost like they rehabilitate him the same way they rehabilitated the Winter Soldier. And I'm hoping that he essentially earns his stripes almost and the respect and takes over the Black Panther mantle. I know it's Shuri in the comics, so I think that's what they're going to do too, But
all right,
fan casting, it'd be
going
Killmonger.
back to the comics, like Killmonger has been resurrected in the comics before.
Mm-hmm.
Jungle Action number 9, it was Madam
You
Slay.
Googled it. You Googled that shit.
No, I actually have that issue at CGC right now. But Jungle Action number 9, first appearance of Madam Slay. She resurrects Killmonger, who then defeats T'Challa and becomes the new Black Panther.
Yeah.
So he was Black Panther for a little while in the comics. I mean, it's not that far of an out there theory. I don't buy into the whole like they're searching for his body in the ocean type thing.
Right.
I'm not saying they're searching. I'm saying whoever's digging for the vibranium disturbs wherever his body was, and it comes to the coast. The body shows up on the coastline.
So you're saying Pacific Rim basically happens in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. That's what you're
Love
talking
that.
Yeah.
That's a great approach.
That's a great approach.
Said nobody ever.
If you're gonna steal from something, I guess, right? Steal from Pacific Rim.
Said nobody ever.
But all right, so after Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, that's this November. We got the beginning, earmuff Zuplex, of Phase 5.
He twitched.
And Phase 5 starts with Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
Oof.
And it's been officially confirmed now. This is our introduction, our official full-blown intro to Kang the Conqueror. So we already met a variant of him in Loki Season 1. And as a side note, I think it's pretty funny that at the end of Loki Season 1, He Who Remains basically laid out what the rest of the multiverse saga was going to be, and we just didn't know it at the time. This is how smart Marvel is. They basically flat out told us this is what's going to happen, and we all kind of were arguing that there's no set path and whatever, but that's what we got. So Kang starts here, and he's going to be with us for a long time. So Captain, you're my in-house guest. How do you feel about Ant-Man Quantumania?
So I said it. I don't know who posted. I think it was Zoop who posted it. But I said this is going to be this one. It was one of the two of you. This is going to be it. And I definitely like Ant-Man. The first one was good. Ant-Man and Wasp wasn't well received overall, except for the cutscene, right? What it kind of gave us. But this one is going to introduce so much that I once again, we've talked about it before. I am so cautiously optimistic because I said the same thing about Doctor Strange and was underwhelmed.
Yep.
I was about Thor, right? We talk about this a lot. There's a lot of movies recently that have come out, and we've been like very underwhelmed at the end of it. I think the last movie that I was hopeful for and left and was really blown away was Shang-Chi.
Yep.
But this
What about Spider-Man?
This one, bro,
Spider-Man, yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and Spider-Man. And by the way, that's a great call because I was very, very much like, we went and I was like, bro, if they F this up, dude, I'm going to be so mad. And we thought they were going to introduce the Spider-Mans. It was going to be corny. They were going to do too much. And man, oh man, it was really one of the greatest movies ever.
Yeah, really.
Take away Marvel.
Top 5 MCU
ever,
for sure.
Ever. It was so well done. It was it was tasteful. It was classy, action packed. It was great. But I with this one, there's so much riding on it.
Yeah.
Tell me, and like, I thought a lot was riding on Doctor Strange. I'm gonna double down on this.
Yeah.
There's way more riding
100%.
on this.
I totally agree. I mean, I feel
This
like
is-
go ahead, Scythe.
I was just gonna say, this is the first time Ant-Man's movie is starting a phase and really giving us the saga's villain.
Yep.
Whereas the previous 2 movies were ending a phase, and it was just kind of like the wrap up after the big battle. Like,
Well, and what's funny is the director, what's the name, Peyton Reed for Ant-Man, said that this is the first time we're gonna see Ant-Man have a more epic and intense feel to it.
It's great.
Whereas the other ones were just comedies, basically. Besides, like you said, besides the credit scene, they were just comedies. They didn't really matter
like
so much.
the first movie was a heist. It was basically the whole movie.
Absolutely.
The heist movie.
But by the way, it was a heist, Zuplex. It was a heist.
Yeah.
Once again, it was a stand-alone movie
Yes.
introducing a character.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Zup.
Absolutely.
100%.
I mean, what Marvel's been able to do is, like, instead of just giving us superhero movies or comic book movies, they give us like different genres of movies with Marvel characters in them. Yep. So you get a heist movie with Ant-Man, you get a political thriller with Captain America and Captain America Winter Soldier, right? So you get these different genres of movie with Marvel characters in them. So
Endgame was a time heist.
I mean, Endgame was a time heist, you know? Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness was really a horror movie. You know, it was a watered down horror movie, but it was a horror movie. It had horror elements to it.
It was a PG horror movie. It was Poltergeist.
PG horror movie. It was Poltergeist. Yeah,
it definitely pushed the envelope further than I thought they would go initially, right?
Yeah, it was way more violent
for sure.
Yeah.
So one of the things is like, and what the captain just brought up is, you know, we've been let down by the last couple of movies, but I think that's actually our fault. Right?
Yeah.
Because we amp ourselves up because we're still coming off of Endgame, and no real big thing has happened since then besides No Way Home, right?
Yeah.
And then we get No Way Home, and we're all amped up again. We're like, all right, the next one's going to be crazier. The next one's going to be crazier. I think they've just been telling simple stories.
That's their fault, though.
No, well, hear me out here, because now with Ant-Man, it's going to be their fault if they don't deliver, because now they've told us
they're hyping us up. That's what you're
they're
saying.
hyping us up now. We were hyping ourselves up before. Now they're hyping us up, so now they have to deliver.
I think part of the problem though is that the movies we were disappointed by were sequels. You know, like you said, Shang-Chi we were amped about, and it hit our expectations. I would think and exceeded them. Eternals, while I know there's a lot of people out here who didn't like it, I fucking loved it. I thought it was epic. It was as cool as I expected it to be. It's a little weird that they haven't commented on the fact there's a giant head and fingers sticking out of the ocean somewhere. But
I mean,
it was the movie
we're
itself.
not commenting on anything that's happening. It's insane.
Right. But the movie itself was good, and the end credit scenes are teasing things that I'm amped for.
It was fresh and new.
Right. The follow-up movies, Thor, Love and Thunder, Doctor Strange, those are the ones where we were expecting them to be better than their originals, and, you know, it just didn't deliver for me. I mean, No Way Home was a whole separate thing because that was something I never thought I'd see on screen.
Yeah. I think though with Doctor Strange, we were expecting it. Yeah, it was a sequel, but it was also kind of like a piggyback off of the events of No Way Home. Yes. It was just and it just felt like a jumbled mess when we actually saw it.
So we weren't hyped. We weren't hyped for no reason, bro. We were hyped for exactly what Scythe just said.
Yeah.
I didn't go into it and think it was a Doctor Strange. And I think Zuplex, what I think we've talked about this, Spartacris and I also, that yes, sometimes maybe we build up legends in our mind, you know, and I think what you're saying is true. But I think with Doctor Strange in particular, they were building off of an epic movie and an epic ending to the movie. And they were essentially telling us we were going to get our first dive into the multiverse.
Yep.
Okay. We were going to get characters. We knew we were going to get Scarlet Witch. We knew we were going to get some of this crazy action.
A million variants and like all this wild shit.
Yes. Yeah. And they told us that. And so we went into it hyped because the points we were getting were, this is going to knock our socks off. right?
Yeah, but they didn't tell you you're going to get a million variants. Like that's the thing is we hyped that up in our own minds. Like as Doctor Strange was coming up, we were all talking about it, and we were all like, "What are we going to see? We're going to see this. We're going to see variants of this. We're going to see variants of that. We're going to see."
But there's a
we
reason
were
for
all
that.
speculating.
That's not fair. They showed us numerous cameos,
right?
Though,
They showed us. There were leaked cameos. They showed us cameos,
and all those cameos came through fruition, and they were killed off immediately.
No, but
you know what I'm saying?
You know what the reason is though, Zuplex, that we were hyping it up ourselves because we just watched No Way Home and saw cameos we never thought we'd see, and then they connected the Doctor Strange 2 trailer to the end credits of No Way Home. So all we could think of was like, if we just saw this, what are we going to get in the next movie? And that's a good point.
The biggest disappointment.
And they're
go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say, and they're marketing it as Madness, Multiversal Madness.
And
the name of the movie.
My biggest letdown, it may not be anybody else's, but I can tell you that based on the characters and the scene and what they are to the MCU, biggest letdown the MCU has done to date, period, is what they did to the Illuminati.
100%. That's worse than the Mandarin
we're still gonna get the Illuminati.
Trevor Slattery. I think we are too. I agree with you there.
I think we're gonna get a proper version of the Illuminati.
I agree with you
I
there.
hope so.
But I feel like
they need redemption after that.
That was as bad as it gets.
You got to throw it in the same boat as Iron Man 3 with the Mandarin. You know what I mean? Like they took a chance. They faked out the Mandarin for us, and some people loved it, some people hated it. They basically took the same chance with the Illuminati and said, "Look, it's another dimension. Let's just kind of have fun with it."
That's a cop out. Come on, brother.
No, but I'm not saying I agree with you. I was disappointed by it. I'm just saying that it's them taking a chance and they failed.
You're saying one villain, right? You're saying one villain. They took a chance on a different iteration, like we said, of a villain. And quite frankly, like not many people knew who the villain was unless you knew the character, right? And who he was and what he was.
I mean, the Mandarin is Iron Man's
greatest foe.
No, but okay, but to our point earlier though, Iron Man's a C-level guy. Not many people really followed Iron Man, brother. So I can tell you this, me personally, I was an Iron Man guy until about Iron Man 2, and then I started to really Google the character.
I was an Iron Man guy because of Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Okay, so there you go. So for me, for me, everything I knew of Iron Man was he was like, he was nothing, So whatever. But that's why that wasn't a letdown to me, bro. If you don't know who the Illuminati is and you don't know who the characters that make up the Illuminati is, you're not a fan,
right?
Okay, and that's the biggest letdown. Period. I can get over a fake BS Mandarin. I can't get over 5 seconds of Illuminati. I'm sorry, I can't.
I do agree with Zuplex, though. I think they're gonna give us an actual.
I
hope so.
Especially with some of the other things that are coming. But before we move off of Ant-Man, I just want to point out too, it's also been officially confirmed that MODOK is making his live action debut. Buttersworth, I didn't forget, buddy. I see your comment there.
Is Patton Oswalt gonna do the voice?
I don't know.
I don't know.
My fear though is that MODOK, because he's described in the trailer as more of a robot than anything else. I feel like he's basically gonna be like a henchman to Kang, which isn't really the worst thing in the world, but how else do you bring him to live action, I guess? But
so
we're getting MODOK
head in a robot suit.
Yeah.
Listen,
I would love if it's Patton Oswalt.
I would love it too, because that show was actually pretty funny. But you know what makes me most excited for MODOK, and not to get off topic here, is if they do him well in a Marvel movie, that means we can actually get Kang in the human cyborg body in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Like that's the segue. Let me see MODOK here, and then that means I can get a good.
Didn't we get that?
Yeah, but it was garbage. It wasn't good. It was garbage. It was a Michael Bay version of it. It wasn't, But so we're getting a lot of big announcements. Like we said, Ant-Man Quantumania is going to be super
I have a
intense.
question. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go for it.
So do we think this Kang that's in Ant-Man is going to be the same one that's going to be fighting the Avengers at the end of Phase 6?
So I have kind of a theory, my own little theory about what we're going to get with Avengers 6 or Avengers 5.
So you want to wait on it until we get there?
Yeah, we can wait on it. My answer to you is going to be yes and no, and we can get into more detail later.
Can't wait to hear it. Let's go.
After Ant-Man Quantumania, so Ant-Man's coming out February of next year. That starts earmuffs, Zuplex. That starts Phase 5. Then we got Secret Invasion, which is the Nick Fury focused show, coming out spring of next year. And from what I was
really hoping to get a trailer for that because I'm excited for that show. I want to see what Nick Fury's been up to.
They showed it. at Comic-Con.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I know they
showed it
did,
only for
but-
them. I mean, we'll get it soon, but
It really, by the way, this Secret Invasion really opens up so many more doors.
a ton of doors.
It's like
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
it's pretty
huge,
it's
huge.
pretty wild, and I'm hoping they don't go like way off,
Right,
on a
right.
tangent with it, but they could in theory, and it could open up so much because there's so many memes about just memes about like who is really who and who's not
Yeah.
who and what's what, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it could definitely open up a can of worms. I'm excited for it. But the shows, to me, it's a show, right?
It's a
coming out
show.
Yeah, that's what I
Disney
thought.
Plus, 6 episodes.
So I don't, bro. You know how I feel about these shows, man. You guys know how I feel about
I
these
think
shows.
you're too hard on them, to be honest with you.
Well, but
I really do.
So I
really
kind of
do.
agree with Zuplex. However, in this case, I have to side with the captain mainly because this storyline is a huge storyline and could
Yeah,
really be a trilogy of movies. I mean, this could
That's
be
what
a
I mean,
big deal.
dude.
I don't disagree with you on that. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that 6-hour-long episodes, that's the same length as a trilogy.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, but I just feel like they're.
No.
I'm
If
a
it's
little
not Lord of
afraid
the
that the
Rings.
fact they're making it a show is almost like they're downplaying the seriousness of the Skrulls basically infiltrating
Yeah.
our world. You know what I mean? So
Well, I think because they're doing all these other giant through storylines that we're getting, that you can't really do Secret Invasion on top of all of that, on top of doing the Kang Dynasty, on top of doing Secret Wars, on top of introducing the Fantastic Four and everything like that, and make Secret Invasion as big as it should be.
yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, I don't disagree.
Unless they sprinkle in a scroll in every movie moving forward, in
Well,
every show.
We may have had scrolls in every movie we've seen so far.
This is
We
the
don't know
Right,
yet.
but
That's actually, you hit the nail on the head, Site. That's the one thing that they could kind of, I wouldn't say redeem it because they haven't released anything yet, but with Secret Invasion, they should kind of confirm to us that things we've seen throughout what we've gotten so far in Phase 4 aren't always 100% what we think
May
we're
not
seeing.
be. Yep.
That certain people
Yeah.
that we didn't know are actually Skrulls. 100% they should do that. And then going forward, it shouldn't end with this show. They should kind of keep that thread going a little bit. Maybe end the bulk of the thread, but give us more going forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm sure it's going to be sprinkled throughout the movies and the rest of the shows and stuff like that.
I hope.
I don't see them just like ending it at the end of the
Yeah.
series.
I kind of hope,
I know like it was described as a really good like psychological political thriller.
Yep.
The show.
Which is a kind of a new
So-
thing for a show. You know what I mean? They haven't done a show
Yeah.
like that before, so they might do that
Yeah.
do that justice. And for anyone who doesn't know, at the end of was it Captain Marvel, I think, where they basically showed that Talos and his right hand were pretending to be Maria Hill and Nick Fury. So there's going to be some sort of thread or some sort of connection.
No, that was the end of Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Far From Home. That's right, Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a connection there as well. So there might be some sort of through line from that movie to this one.
Well, we found out that Nick Fury's been off world for
And he's been
very
off-world
long
developing
time.
Sword, which is the
developing sword. Yeah.
which is basically the shield like the shield but for space. And they were
Yep.
prominent in WandaVision, so who knows if there's going to be a connection there. But after Secret Invasion, we get another movie, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, coming May of 2023.
It's wild.
I am so amped for this
Wild.
one. We got,
it's gonna be bittersweet.
it's going to be bittersweet. So Gamora is a part of the Ravagers, right? She's leading them, actually, according to the footage that was shown at SDCC.
I didn't see any of it,
According
by
to
the way.
James,
They didn't. Well,
According
I
to
watched like a
James
leak
Gunn.
thing, but they didn't.
No.
Release anything.
I'm telling you, I didn't watch SDCC at all.
Okay, all right.
So, I wanted to do reactions with you guys. I watched what you guys put out, and I wanted to see what they put out. As like coming forth. I think we've had a lot of conversation about how,
Yeah.
like the MCU was all over the place. There was no direction. We didn't know what was going on. So it was nice to see them put out a few new phases.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna have to put a beep over that so Zuplex. doesn't
yeah,
get shit.
and it was so like when Scythe put this up, right, initially put this big thing up for us to see, and I saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3. We knew it was coming.
Yeah,
Obviously, I know Zuplex was about to allude to like James Gunn was getting into it, whatever. This was one of the ones that when I looked at, I said, man, these movies have been like out of this world.
Yeah.
I hope
I
3
love the
is
first
even
two.
better.
I love the first two. So
James Gunn said that this is going to be the last version of this Guardians of the Galaxy that we see.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you could kind of see it with the people, Chris Pratt and all
Expect
them.
a
They
lot
were
of
all
people to
upset.
Yeah.
100%. I do think Rocky Raccoon is definitely gonna die.
I think Rocket eats it.
We basically meet the what's the bad guy's name? Zuplex, the not high intelligence.
Evolutionary.
The high evolutionary. And he's the one who, his whole thing is he wants to basically take you and kind of rebuild you as a robot, essentially, because he doesn't feel like you're good enough.
But he's got an entire planet of humanoid animals, basically.
The actor who plays the high evolutionary is from he was in Peacemaker, and he was basically John Cena's boss.
Zuplex, my question is this: so Guardians of the Galaxy. Once again, I tell everybody, I anything that I don't know a lot about, I'll sort of like go down the rabbit hole and sort of read on them and figure out the characters and try and understand it, right? So with Guardians of the Galaxy itself, we know Adam Warlock's coming.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So
he was on stage with them at Comic-Con, so we know he's definitely in this movie.
So I didn't. That's dope. I didn't know that at all. But my question is with Adam Warlock. Now Adam Warlock has been known to obviously wear the Infinity Stones. Is he gonna be like the next guy? Is he gonna be a major conflict? Is he gonna be on their side? What do you think is coming here for Adam Warlock?
You know what? I honestly don't know, because bringing in the High Evolutionary, originally I thought Adam Warlock was gonna be the bad guy that they were up against, and then then they find out somebody else is behind something and they wind up teaming up or whatever.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to start off fighting Adam Warlock, and every movie they bring
greater
their
threat
side.
comes.
Right. Okay. Right. They're going to open his eyes almost to how bad the High Evolutionary actually is, and he'll join them. I think that's what's going to happen.
Well, I mean, the High Evolutionary is obviously in this version. I don't remember in the comics if he was who created Rocket or not, but I know in this version of Guardians, they are saying that he's the one that created Rocket.
I don't think he was, but I think I agree with you.
They're going to
do that for the movies.
Well, I think they've already kind of said that we're going to get a Rocket backstory in this version of Guardians. So I think that they're going to be trying to stop the High Evolutionary, and then they're going to have Adam Warlock maybe. Also, like, you got to remember, Adam Warlock at the end of Guardians 2 was created by the Sovereign, who has a beef with the Guardians now. So that could be, they send Adam Warlock after the Guardians to get their revenge on them, and then who knows?
Oh, that's just how good the MCU is, man. That is how good the MCU is. Bro, they've been teasing Adam Warlock for what feels like 10 years.
Yeah.
And they have been teasing the backstory of Rocket for what feels like 10 years. Just about his sob story about how, he told them how he was made and how he's created in a lab, and I'm a blah blah blah. And this is exactly what keeps us coming back.
Yeah.
To figure out how we can close the loop, right? Yeah. Like you watch the movie, and anybody who really watches and really pays attention to it, and you're like hanging on to every word. And listen, I mean, at the end of the day, we're super nerds, right? It's what we are, and we're super proud of it, and we love it. And we've watched the movies. I mean, I don't know how many times you guys watch the Guardians of the Galaxy, but shit, man, every single time it's on, I'm watching it, right? And
I'm rewatching the MCU right now. I just decided I'm going to start from the beginning before I go to sleep and just watch.
And I'm like, I keep thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I missed that, or man, I wonder if they're gonna bring that to light next, or I wonder what's gonna pop up, right? And it's always something that closes, that we figure it out, and it brings us back. And this is just another reason why they're amazing, and they're always constantly giving a little.
Yeah,
it's
always
awesome.
just enough.
Oh, just enough.
But before we keep going, this whole San Diego Comic-Con Hall H panel. What I feel like people don't realize is this is a testament to why Marvel is Marvel, why Kevin Feige is Kevin Feige. They hear what the fans are saying. They hear the complaints. They hear the fact that we're a little frustrated. So he says, all right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you way more than you even expected in Hall H. But you know what I'm also going to do? I'm going to keep 8 movies unannounced, and I'm still going to keep a whole section of stuff that you don't even know is coming because we have that many things in store and that many things planned. That's 100%.
Apparently there's a mystery movie that wasn't even mentioned in this in Phase 5.
There's 8 of them. Movies.
8 of them.
No. I'm talking in Phase 5. There's still one more movie in Phase 5 that they didn't announce, but they have an Untitled weekend.
There's got to be
counted for it.
Blade is up here, but we also saw another main. I guess a new main character to come. Right. So we saw in the same cutscene that we got Blade's voiceover. In the same one.
Black Knight.
Yep, Black Knight. And you know that there's another confirmed Eternals 2.
Right.
When is that coming?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you're going into Star
Deadpool
Fox.
3 is coming.
You're going. Yeah. There's so much that they've given us that they're not showing here that we know is on the way. We know that.
What's funny? What's funny is
that was my favorite thing about the. Oh, go ahead.
I was just say what's funny is with all these announcements, though. You notice that the one thing we haven't gotten yet that we really haven't. Kevin Feige hasn't even mentioned really is mutants. No X-Men, no mutants. I know we got the confirmation of Ms. Marvel, but to your point, Scythe, maybe they're waiting. Maybe they're waiting until we get Namor, and he's in the comics considered the first mutant. Like, there's a lot
he's another mutant to add to Ms. Marvel and going down that rabbit hole.
And let's not forget, D23 is later this year, and Disney and Kevin Feige and all them are going to be there. So who knows what they're going to announce during that whole shabacle. Go ahead, Zuplex.
My favorite thing about this Marvel panel is it gave us a whole bunch of information, but also gave us no new information.
Right. Well, yeah.
We
all know Fred wasn't happy with that.
Finally confirm a bunch of stuff that we've known was coming for a while.
I didn't think I thought they were pretty firm on the fact we weren't getting another Avengers, and that was not true.
That was very firm. Kevin Feige said in interviews recently that it was not coming for a while.
So I think that was one of the new bombs
that's
that they dropped on us.
That's the big new bomb,
And I think that there was a few things like Loki 2 I didn't know was confirmed, and Loki 1 was epic.
Right.
Yeah, I knew that was confirmed.
Okay, so I and Captain America, by the way, we sort of felt like after the show, right? We sort of felt like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we were gonna get Sam's Captain America. But I didn't hear anything confirmed, so I didn't know if they were ever gonna if it was gonna be another show.
Right.
I didn't know, so it was pretty cool.
Weren't sure if it was gonna be a show, movie, whatever.
Yeah, so said he would be Captain America, but they never told us what that meant.
Correct. So I think there was. I mean, the Avengers one is what blew me away because when Scythe posted it, I was like, "Holy shit, dude!" Like, it's another one. We're getting now whatever that one is.
Right.
It's not going to be your Endgame Avengers, no shot.
No.
But
it can't be.
It can't. Because there's no way you have Blade fighting X2. So
hey, if they had Blade fighting like Wolverine or something like that, then it might be.
Yeah,
it might be the next Endgame.
I mean, only guy I want to see Blade fighting next to is Punisher. That's it. So
dude, that'd be sick.
And
Ghost Rider
and Ghost Rider and Daredevil, and we're not getting any of that. So
not yet.
Not yet. But that's I think that's the thing. It's I hear you. It wasn't like new, but there also was some bombs that they dropped on us that I was like, wow,
for sure.
And Fantastic Four, they've been talking about for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had a producer, they had a director, and then he dropped out of it.
Right.
And I am very, I mean, listen, come on, guys. Once the Fantastic Four is here, it's no holds bar. Right?
Yeah,
that's it. There's no holds bar.
So many major characters.
No, come on. And by your next supervillain is
Doom.
Doom is from the Fantastic Four.
100%.
Like that's it. I mean, when you're looking and you saw Thanos, I'm sorry, but the next guy you're thinking of is Doom. Yeah. I don't know who else you guys are thinking of other than Kang, because in Kang's storyline he does have. Okay, yeah, but I'm saying like what, even when you're saying that, if you talk to any person who's a fan of the MCU, I don't think any of them are going to know that one, brother. I don't think many are going to be like, okay, yeah. I think that they're going to immediately say the big guys. Not many know that Kang in his multiverse, in one of his versions, like Kang the Conqueror, he's killed all these superheroes.
Honestly,
he has a vault of all of their main things.
Right.
Like, you know, so
I would argue with you that until Kang was name dropped in the Loki show, nobody thought Kang would be in the movies. I don't think anyone thought that they would go that route. You know what I mean?
No.
So, and Galactus, you know, everyone wants Galactus, but after Rise of the Silver Surfer, I don't think anyone wanted him to even touch that. I agree with you. I think Doom was the one that people were like, that's who we want.
No, but by the way, Galactus within itself, obviously, for anybody who knows, you know, the World Eater, like, I mean, it's just Galactus is, you know, Galactus is the baddest, you know, like,
Galactus is
we this is it. It's the end, right? Yeah. So, like, when I was little, I was 4 years old, and I recalled when my grandfather was alive, and he had his own laundry store and in Brooklyn, and literally next to the store was a convenience store, and they only sold Marvel cards, collecting cards. And I still remember the first hologram card I pulled out of the first pack was a Galactus.
Wow.
And I started to be like, oh wow, I'll look into this, you know, and so that's how long I've known about Galactus being the baddest. Like, I knew about Galactus, and I didn't know anything about Thanos, right? So I had to, like, really understand and go back and look. But, you know, anybody who thinks of this immediately goes to Fantastic Four and immediately goes to Doom.
Yeah, 100%.
No doubt about
it.
100%. So after Guardians of the Galaxy, we got probably the show that I'm least excited about, I think, or the property I'm least excited about, which is Echo. This is a continuation of the Hawkeye show. Yeah. She was the deaf character in the show. She's getting her own show, which is fine. She was fine in the Hawkeye show. I'm more excited for the fact that Daredevil and Kingpin are confirmed to be back in this show than the fact that she's getting her own show.
I think this show is more to push Daredevil and Kingpin.
That's what it seems like. I don't know anything about the show. You know, we don't know what's going to happen.
So Echo first showed up in a Daredevil comic. She's trained by Daredevil. She has beef with the Kingpin. Obviously, at the end of Hawkeye, we see her shoot Kingpin in the face. Mm-hmm. Kingpin should have the one eye now, so he should be blind in one eye. Mm-hmm. And that version of the Kingpin. So, I mean, we'll see. Like, we don't know a lot about it, but I'm assuming with them bringing Matt Murdock back in, and we know he's confirmed for She-Hulk, it's going to be a continuation of that specific storyline.
Right. I mean, it just goes to show you, too, how serious they're taking the return of Daredevil, that we've already gotten his cameo as Matt Murdock in No Way Home. He's going to be in She-Hulk in the next few weeks. He's going to be a secondary character in the Echo show, and then he's getting his own show, and we'll get to that in a minute. But it just shows you that they're taking this character seriously. His return is not some little thing. They're really.
I mean, it shouldn't be.
Daredevil's big. I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well said.
Yeah, which is huge for me. You know,
they have to start making. They have to start putting an emphasis, like they did on Spider-Man, for the characters that matter. Yeah, and Daredevil matters.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's another character that I feel like could be as big as Spider-Man if they actually keep treating him right and keep pushing him the way they're doing it. 100% he could grow.
And it's crazy because I don't think a lot of people know, like, to what degree Daredevil is, right? Because we got a Ben Affleck Daredevil, and we vomited, and you know, and then we got the show, which is great, but let's be honest, a show doesn't compare to a movie, right?
That show kind of does.
No, you
ever watch that show?
Yeah.
Like, that show is by far some of the best content that Marvel's ever put out.
Season 3 is the best season. What
I mean by that is yes, but there's no way incomparable to hype.
Right.
You're gonna go see a movie, you're gonna say, wow, and a show, you're like, okay, I'm ready for episode 2 on this Wednesday, right? But we're seeing a date and we're like, wow, this movie's gonna be nuts, right? So finally, when they need to start building these characters up that deserve it.
I agree.
Yeah.
After the Echo show, we're getting Loki Season 2, which is nuts to me that we're getting a Season 2 before they kind of have their big battle with Kang. Like, I don't know what this show is gonna show us. You know, they're not gonna kill off Kang. You know what I mean? He'll probably be a part of the show. I'm sure there'll be other variants, but there's gonna be that show in particular, Season 2 is gonna be nuts. I feel like. Because I don't know what they're going to show us. I'm, like, open to whatever it is. All timeline shit. Multiple Kangs. Multiple Lokis. Owen Wilson saying, wow. Like,
it's going to be so much. It's going to be more madness than Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it's gonna be what Multiverse of Madness should have been, to be perfectly honest.
The show was, every episode was mind blowing.
It was phenomenal. I mean, and now
Every episode.
as a testament to the Disney Plus shows, we can talk about how She-Hulk maybe is okay if she doesn't look that great because it's a Disney Plus show. Loki looked unbelievable.
Unbelievable. By
Every
the way,
world
every single variant.
Every single variant, every single world, every single piece of magic, like it all looked fantastic for a Disney Plus show. So that's proof that they can do it. You know what I mean?
I sat at the end of that series, and I just looked around and I was like, wow, bro, what did my mind just go through?
Right.
Like at the end of it, when you see all of the branching off, and you're like, oh boy, it really. And it's crazy because even the music at the end. Yeah. You're sitting there listening to the music and you're like, this is so big.
It was epic.
Oh, my God.
It felt epic. It was the first Disney Plus show that felt epic. I honestly think that's the only show they've come out with that's worth rewatching. The rest of them, like, you watch it once, it's fine. Like, you kind of get the gist of it. But that's the first one that I think is worth watching multiple times.
The last 3 episodes of Moon Knight also.
Yeah, I love Moonlight.
I could rewatch Hawkeye. Hawkeye was top notch for me.
I liked Hawkeye. I liked Hawkeye a lot.
I mean, Hawkeye was good.
I actually liked Captain America: Winter Soldier also.
Very much.
I like that a lot.
Well,
I rewatched.
I personally like all the shows.
The Falcon Winter Soldier.
Watch again.
Very much.
So after Loki, we got in July of next year, we got the sequel to Captain Marvel, which I'm actually pretty hyped for. The first Captain Marvel I thought was slow, was a little boring, kind of unnecessary.
Dog shit.
But
it was pretty terrible.
I feel like
Bye, Felicia.
Listen, my reasoning is I feel like that since they got past the origin and we can really get into like some crazy cosmic shit, I think this one's going to be much better.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be
tuned you out the whole time. I actually tuned you out the whole time.
Would you say Zuplex?
I think it's going to be the ending of Secret Invasion.
Right, but that's epic though. That'd be huge if they.
I think Secret Invasion is going to lead into Miss Marvel. Like right now, we're seeing a trend. Right, we're seeing a trend where the Disney Plus shows, even though we were talking about it, that we didn't think that they were leading into the movies, or they're not leading into the movies fast enough. They all are eventually leading into a movie. Yeah. Right. So WandaVision led into Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Loki led into Ant-Man and the Quantumania and
excellently.
Shit. Falcon Winter Soldier is going to lead into Captain America: New World Order.
Yep.
So we're seeing the breadcrumbs now. So Secret Invasion might lead into the Marvel.
I think it kind of has to. I mean, we know Talos and his partner are going to show up in the Marvels. We know that Miss Marvel is going to show up in the Marvels, and that means that Department of Damage Control might also be a part of that. We also know that Monica Rambeau, with her powers, is going to be a part of the Marvels as well. So you got a couple of shows that are kind of bleeding into this sequel. So I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised. I think John and I are going to go to the theater for it, and he's actually going to leave and be like, bro, that was
you're paying for the tickets and the snacks.
I'll pay for both. I'll pay for both.
I have a random question. When are we going to see White Vision back?
Wow, that's racist. Why does he have to be white?
Thunderbolts.
Got him. Got him. Stay woke.
Stay woke, son. It's Disney, man. He's not white. He's
they whitewashed Vision.
He's clear Vision. They're not going to bring him back because they whitewashed
White Vision.
It's a good question.
I'll tell you, I canceled them immediately when I saw he was white.
Canceled him. I removed all the Vision stuff. No, Zuplex, I agree. I think it is going to be Thunderbolts.
I think it's going to be Thunderbolts.
It just seems like the most logical spot to bring him back in. They were clearly trying to use him up as a weapon anyway. But after the Marvels, and this is one of the movies that I'm most excited for Phase 4, is Blade. I think this movie, they're going to do this movie justice. I think it's going to be great. I love the idea of Dracula being the bad guy or being the villain. Mahershala Ali kills it in everything he does, so he's going to be fantastic.
We got Dracula in Blade 3.
Yeah, but that wasn't Dracula. That was emo Dracula. This is going to be like classic Bram Stoker Dracula.
That was an emo Dracula?
That was emo Dracula. He's wearing leather, black fingernails, and black eye polish.
Eyeshadow.
Goth Dracula.
Sorry.
Let me
Goth Dracula.
Let me ask you a quick question.
I didn't have a phase.
Don't offend all the emos.
What does Dracula wear exactly on a normal basis? Just want to know what he's supposed to wear.
He needs to wear a long cape and a suit. And a suit.
I mean, he kind of is the original emo, right?
That's what I mean. Like
he's not emo. I would say
he's the original Robert Pattinson.
The only Dracula I know is one that sparkles in the sun.
I'm just curious as to see like what your in your multiverse what your Dracula wears.
Gary Oldman and make him play his version of Dracula from Bram Stoker's Dracula. Wow. The big white hair. That's what I want going at it with
I do not want that.
Yeah, I'm at, by the way, you can sort of see, for anyone who ends up watching this and listening, we can see you like teetering off the edge, you in particular, where you're like, well, I'm actually kind of hyped for the Marvels, and by the way, I want Dracula to be pink. Like we can see you teetering off the edge.
Who said pink?
I gotta be honest with you, bro. Either we gotta reel you back in, right? Or we got to turn your mic off because at this point you're all out. You're out on this.
I don't even know where you came up with pink before. I didn't even say that.
Okay, well, it's called
Dark
being
Roots
facetious.
Creations says, "Please, can Wesley Snipes play Whistler?" Which would be unbelievable fan service.
Wow,
well,
Dark Roots coming out of nowhere.
Wow, I don't think Whistler's going to
be in the movie. See, Dark Roots, you're putting your vote behind Zuplex, and he's shooting you down right now.
But I love that. Dark, I love that. That's a great take.
There's no reason that Wesley Snipes can't play Hannibal King.
He could play Hannibal King, but why don't you think they're going to have a Whistler? Let me ask you a question, though. Because every superhero Marvel comes out with has their entourage.
Whistler is not a real character.
Yeah, but he was so popular in the original movies.
He became real in my mind.
Yeah. I mean, people are going to want Whistler.
The guy who really trains Blade is Hannibal King.
I would argue with you, though, that people who like Blade, who tell you they're Blade fans right now, have no idea that that's the case.
No idea.
They think Whistler's the guy.
Absolutely.
In canon that takes care of that.
I don't give a shit what comic you saw that in, bro. Whistler's real.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just the comic. It's like
stop lying to me.
You know, the entire Blade backstory. Hannibal King's the most important character in his backstory.
Well, thanks for taking the heat off of me because
I'm out.
That was just dumb.
I'm out. I'm out on that. I don't want any more. I don't even want you to tell me any more about it. Whistler's
Whistler's
real.
in. Whistler's in. Whistler's a part of it. So we don't really know anything story details wise. We only know Dracula's going to be the villain. Obviously, Mahershala Ali is Blade. I wonder if Kit Harington's going to show up as Black Knight and kind of connect.
That'd be great
to the Eternals. That'd be awesome.
Yep.
But that's November of 2023, so that's actually coming out next year, which is amazing. Excuse me. Then we get Ironheart, the show, coming out in fall of 2023. Which,
great.
Yeah.
So your eye roll kind of speaks volumes to me. I almost kind of agree. Like we need to get away from the OG Avengers. And I understand Riri Williams is going to be in Black Panther. She's going to be built in her suit. I don't know that she needs a show.
Oh, God,
you know what I mean? Or maybe not her own show. Maybe make her a cameo. I feel like we don't need another Iron Man.
You don't need another.
You already
Iron
have Spider-Man, or he was set up as the new Iron Man. We have a lot of other characters that kind of fill that role. Shuri, if she becomes Black Panther, is essentially the same thing as Iron Man. I mean, like, I don't know. What do you guys feel about the show? Scythe, what do you think?
I don't know what to think, honestly. I don't know too much about the character to frankly talk about it.
All right, Zuplex.
I'm not really
go back to you, but what do you think?
I don't know if she's a strong enough character to hold her own show. I mean, we'll have to see once Wakanda Forever comes out, like what they bring us with her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It seems like from the trailer that she's pretty prominent in the movie.
Yes, I mean they spent a good amount of time on her.
Yeah, they spent a good amount of time on her. So I mean. That being said, I think the Ironheart show is going to be more of a vehicle to bring us to Young Avengers.
I agree.
Or maybe an Avengers Academy type of thing.
So I kind of thought that's what the Captain America movie would be. I think that's we can get into that, I guess, when we get to the movie. But
yeah.
I don't disagree with Ironheart for sure.
You can skip over Agatha.
Yeah,
next.
I mean, I'm not that excited. Like, I liked WandaVision.
I just don't know the point of it at all.
Right.
At
like,
all.
Her character in WandaVision. So just for anyone listening, Agatha, Coven of Chaos is winter of 2023. It actually says 2023/2024. They don't have an actual date.
Push it off to 26.
But like, I kind of agree. I don't think her character was that great in WandaVision. Didn't deserve his own show. So we're just going to move past it.
Please.
And here's the big show. This is the biggest show, I think, is spring of 2024. Daredevil Born Again. It's going to be 18 episodes. And it's Daredevil officially getting his own show, which means that he's showing up so many times before the show.
Wild.
He's showing up so many times before the show, and then he's getting 18 more episodes. And I'll tell you what my theory is, because I'm going to start since Theory Room is my show.
Great.
I'm going to start with my theory.
It's a great way to push your weight around.
I think that's a lot of weight. I think that
Prick.
18 episodes is specifically because they're not just giving us Daredevil. I think Born Again is essentially saying the entire Netflix cast is coming, and 18 episodes is going to introduce us to our new, or not our new, but Luke Cage is going to come back. Jessica Jones is going to come back. Iron Fist is going to come back. I think they're all going to, basically we're going to get a Defenders show in this season. That's what I think is going to happen. That's why it's so long.
I agree. Do we need 18 episodes?
Well,
listen.
separate conversation.
I'm not gonna second guess. We can. I'm not gonna second guess what the MCU is gonna do here with Daredevil because there's so much involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm even hoping is I'm hoping they go further, and I'm hoping that there is Spider-Man cameos. I'm hoping that there's
I would love that.
Yeah.
there's other things that are involved with the character for sure. So I think that they can do 18 episodes. Are we going to get a little exhausted if they do the typical every Wednesday? I think that can be exhausting. Wednesday after Wednesday after Wednesday after Wednesday. Like, okay, I think sometimes you do need a little bit of a break from a character, especially if they're going to involve him in so much, which they showed they're going to involve him in a lot.
Yeah, over and over again.
It's, is it like Daredevil overload? I don't know.
It might be.
I'm not gonna say the MCU doesn't know what they're doing. If they made a decisive 18 episode show of it, I'm sure they thought that part out.
Yeah.
So I listen. I'm hoping that they not only the Defenders, but there's a lot more involved in it for sure.
Well, I think there will be. They'll probably bring Bullseye back. Kingpin will probably be a part of it. I agree with you. After No Way Home, Spider-Man is technically a street-level hero at this point. Nobody knows who he is.
Yeah.
So I think he might be a part of it. Maybe
Absolutely.
If it's not even Tom Holland, maybe just
he was in the movie.
suit. Right.
It's the first time that Daredevil can actually feel like it's part of the MCU without being the side piece.
Without randomly referencing the New York incident, which is all they kept saying in the original. So that's huge, though. Spring 2024 is 18 episodes. Go ahead, Zuplex.
So here's where I'm at with this. Number one, I'm all for Daredevil. Born Again is, in my opinion, the greatest graphic novel ever written. Like, it's number one on the list. It's number one on a lot of people's lists. We got Born Again.
Pretty much, yeah.
In season 3 of the Netflix show, right? That was like a pretty accurate Born Again storyline. So I kind of agree with you that I don't know if they're going to do the whole Born Again storyline. I think this is a little play on words for them to kind of bring Daredevil into the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the way you do that is by bringing in all of the Defenders and creating this team around them. I think She-Hulk will show up. I would love for Spider-Man to show up. I don't think he's going to. Only because of contract problems with Sony and everything like that. That's something probably has to be renegotiated and all this other bullshit that we're going through with the Spider-Man thing. I will say that it's an interesting thing for them to do 18 episodes. I think the smart way of doing that is giving us 3 episodes a week instead of 1.
They might.
Because 18 weeks of a series.
Yeah, that's a long time.
It's a long time.
You don't think that would be, bro, Monday, Wednesday, Friday or something, or like 3 on one night, bro? That's
no,
I
3
don't
on
care.
one night.
I don't care which
but
way
why not
you
just
slice
say
it.
then an hour episode, or 6
I
1.5 hour episodes.
I don't care how you slice it. The number 18. I don't care if it's 18 30-minute show, bro. It's a lot, dude. It's a lot.
I mean, in all honesty, the Netflix seasons were 13 episodes long each. You know what I'm saying? And they were an hour long each. And they dropped them all, and they just dropped them all in one day. You know, and then people just.
I can't see them dropping all 18
I almost rather that.
They're going to either.
I almost rather that.
Yeah,
I almost rather them let me binge watch if I want. Let me
Yeah.
take a break when I want. Let me go back when I want. I almost rather that.
I only argue that they're not going to do that because Feige
They haven't
specifically
been.
referenced like twice or 2 or 3 times that he said 18 episodes. So like even he's probably feeling it like, man, this is a lot of episodes we're giving you. I don't know if it's the right idea or not.
Well, it's so.
Well, and what's interesting is it's coming spring 24, right?
Right.
And then you have, you have Captain America not far after that. So like, is Daredevil gonna bleed into that? Is it gonna just do its own thing and not worry about what's happening in the movies, like the Netflix thing?
That's a good point. That actually leads me into my theory for Captain America: New World Order. So I think the name, like you said, Zuplex, Born Again and Daredevil, I think is more of a play on words. It's not the storyline they're going to borrow from. It's more about they're basically, rebirthing these characters officially in the MCU. And it's all the Defenders. I think New World Order for Captain America, which comes out May 3rd of 2024. Is about assigning a new group of people as the Avengers with Captain America as the helm. And I think Daredevil is going to bleed into that in the sense that maybe he'll become an Avenger. Or, the group will become like the Street Avengers or the part of the Young Avengers or something like that. You know what I mean? I think the storylines are going to kind of combine, especially with the fact that 18 episodes is a lot of episodes. So there's got to be a big reason for that.
I think New World Order is just going to have to do with... it's gonna be like almost like a spy thing again with what's her face, Agent Carter, Agent Carter, and all the she got Sharon Carter, yes, but I think she became an agent at the end of the show.
That'll be part of it. That'll definitely be.
She got pardoned, and she's gonna do blacklist stuff on the side with CIA intelligence type shit. So
I think it's
more worldly.
I think what's going to end up happening with New World Order is it's going to lead to Thunderbolts, right?
Well,
so I think that they're going to be fighting. Well, I think they're going to be fighting a Thunderbolts team in New World Order, and it's going to be Cap, Bucky, the new Falcon, which will be Miguel Torres, who was in the show, right?
Right.
And then
Isaiah Bradley, probably.
Isaiah Bradley, maybe, or his grandson becomes
probably
Patriot
his grandson,
Boy.
yeah.
As he becomes Patriot Boy or whatever. We get something along those lines, and I think that they just go and they're fighting against something, and it winds up being that Valentina Allegra Constantopoulos, whatever her fucking name is behind everything, and she's been creating the Thunderbolts the whole time.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Do agree with you that I think the after credits scene is Sam being like, we got to put together an Avengers team.
Yeah, like it's going to lead because they have to establish a new Avengers team before Avengers 5. They have to at least establish something. Even if it's Young Avengers, fine. But they got to establish a new team that's being government run essentially to protect the world.
Fighting something larger.
Fighting somebody larger, 100%. And that does lead into Thunderbolts, which... For anyone who doesn't know, I know Dark Roots wasn't aware of this until I told her today, that the movie's called Thunderbolts. It's basically Marvel's answer to, or Marvel's version of Suicide Squad.
Yep.
And that's the sad part is that the character who played Thunderbolt Ross, Sam Hunt, or William Hunt, I mean, or Hurt. No, William Hurt, I think his name is.
Hurt.
Passed away.
Hurt, yeah.
So he's not going to be a part of the movie, or maybe he will be in some form as the Red Hulk
CGI
or something.
Yeah.
But we do have a U.S. agent who was introduced in Falcon Winter Soldier. We got Yelena Belova, if I'm saying her name right, who's the new Black Widow.
I don't think she's going to be on the Thunderbolts team.
I think she's going to be a part of the movie.
I think
maybe
so.
not on the team, but she'll be a part of the movie.
Oh, she'll be a part of the movie. I think she's going to wind up teaming up with Sam.
Maybe. We got Emil Blonsky, that for all we know is going to be released or something, maybe on some sort of like work release thing, and She-Hulk, and he'll be a part of the Thunderbolts team, so he could kind of take over that Red Hulk role. I'm missing people too. The Allegra, Tessa Containment, whatever, Baron Zemo. Like we have the characters are all there. You know what I mean? They've already established each one of those, so this is going to be a superhero team up movie. So I don't know if people realize how big of a movie this is going to be, but it's actually a huge movie. It's not going to be some small thing.
Oh, it's not. It's not going to be a small movie at all. I've been debating on whether or not like what version of the Thunderbolts that they're going to go with.
It'll be an MCU version. I don't. They're going to borrow. From the
I
comics,
think it's going to be a complete new version of the Thunderbolts. I assume.
Yeah.
Because,
will Daredevil be done by the time we get to the Thunderbolts?
Daredevil's still going to be going in Phase 9.
Yeah.
So
They're gonna release Daredevil 15 minutes at a time. Oh no, I gotta change all the cameras. What's up, One Shot?
What up?
Hold on, I gotta change the cameras now. You guys gonna have to keep talking. After Thunderbolts, earmuffs suplex.
By the way, the Mets won.
I know, bro. I'm watching. I have it right here. That's why I looked down. I was actually going to say that. I was going to say, if anyone who's watching, they see me look away from the camera a lot. I've been watching the Mets Yankees game the whole time, bro. So I'm like, but listen, I'm going to leave it. We have a new, to be honest with you, it's 10:40. People got things to do. They got work. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to leave on Fantastic Four. You got One Shot coming in, so we'll keep it as is. But what I'm going to do here is Fantastic Four.
Yo, we can't hear you guys.
I know. Hold on. John's talking. Let him talk.
Fantastic Four.
I lost you guys.
For me, they can't hear anything, so they don't know.
Chris, we can't.
Hold on.
Chris.
Hold on. Yeah, I hear you. Hold on. Where's my
Said hold on, I think.
One Shot comes in, messes the whole operation up, bro. It's incredible.
Oh, I know why.
See, this is where we need our graphic of two trains colliding into each other and just
100%.
exploding.
Hold on. John is going to give his little send-off, and then we'll keep going. Hold on.
Wait, now we can hear you. We couldn't hear you before.
I know. Hold on. John is going to give his little send-off, and then I'll come back. Hold on.
So obviously,
we can't hear John.
Can't hear John.
Go ahead, back in and tell him.
Are we still holding?
I'm fully aware you can't hear John. Let him talk, and then I'll let you know.
Yes, he's gonna come back. Can you hear me now? Right now, guys?
No, they can't hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. All right. So either way.
Talking to this.
Okay, I'll talk into that. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
All right, I'm leaning over, talking into Chris. Okay, so listen. Obviously, for the last Phase 6, Fantastic Four in 2024, easily gonna be my favorite, no doubt about it. I'm a big Fantastic Four guy. And we talked about Doctor Doom. And that's going to be, like, I don't really care. I don't care what goes on in Phase 5. It's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. We talked about Ant-Man, what we're looking forward to. There's not much I'm looking forward to other than Ant-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Blade. But I can tell you Fantastic Four for me, before I head out, is easily gonna be my favorite part of all the phases, hands down. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I'll listen to it, in a little bit. I'll tune in after or whatever. But I just want to say thank you for having me live, Spartacris.
Appreciate it.
One Shot, welcome in, a day late and a dollar short. Scythe, thank you, brother.
Bowling night.
And Zuplex, my friend. I'm going to leave you with this, bro.
You guys are friends now?
I'm going to put a fucking beating on you.
There you go. There it is.
Here we go.
And I'm just going to tell you this.
Hey, wait. Take your shirt off before you start talking, because you're only a tough guy when you do that.
If I wasn't in somebody else's house, it'd be very weird, bro. If I wasn't in someone else's house, yes, I would do that. Quite frankly, if I was in my house, I'd be walking around naked. Wouldn't even be a thing. But unfortunately for you, this tough guy here, I don't have to face off in a chicken wing eating contest with you. So since it's video games, I'm gonna fucking destroy you, and I'm gonna win some money from my charity, compete for cancer, and by the time this is done, just like the initial video said, you're gonna be calling me daddy. See you later, boys. Captain's out.
Everybody, the broke Nick Merckx.
Oh, I'm sure that eats him up.
Thanks, bro.
It's funny.
All right, I gotta get the cameras all set up, so you guys gonna have to chat.
So we're on Fantastic Four, right?
Yeah, we're done with Phase 4. So Phase 5 or Phase 6. I mean, we're done with Phase 5. Phase 6 is it's starting with Fantastic Four. It's our introduction to the Fantastic Four of the MCU. And go ahead, Zuplex. What do you think is we're going to be seeing?
Let me ask Fred. Do you think that they're going to do a version of Kang the Conqueror that is Nathaniel Richards?
I mean, they might. I just don't. Yeah, I don't know. I just think we're not going to keep the same Kang throughout the whole thing. What we see in Ant-Man's not going to be what we see towards the end. It's going to be the same actor. I feel like it's just going to be different variants in some way.
So again, I have my theory about this. I really feel like so just kind of skipping ahead a little bit, they announced Avengers Kang Dynasty as Avengers 5. And my theory is that I think we're going to see in the Kang Dynasty a bunch of Kangs trying to, almost like fight each other and trying to kind of gain control of being the ultimate Kang or whatever you want to call it. And I feel like that's what I was saying before, that kind of yes and no. I think that he will, we will have the same Kang, but it'll be one Kang of many Kangs that are fighting over control of the timeline and control of what we're gonna see, basically, of the battle world, essentially, and that'll lead into Avengers Secret Wars, which is kind of what my whole theory rests on.
But going back to the Fantastic Four movie, like, I don't think Doctor Doom is gonna be the main villain of the Fantastic Four movie. I think it's gonna be Kang the Conqueror.
Mm-hmm.
You think Kang
will be the villain? Well could be.
Yeah, it definitely could be.
I think they're saving Doctor Doom.
They gotta at least introduce Doctor Doom, though.
No. He's going to be introduced. I think he's going to be introduced in Fantastic Four. I think he's going to be being introduced throughout all of the projects in Phase 5.
He's going to be breadcrumbed.
I agree for sure.
He was already hinted at in Moon Knight.
He was hinted at in Moon Knight, yeah. Yeah, there was Steve, you can probably remember the exact scene, but there's a scene where we see, like, I think it's his logo or Latveria or something like that.
Oh,
it's where they're chasing them through, where they're in the ice cream truck or the truck they're in.
Yeah, that's right. That it's in Latveria, right?
Basically. Yeah.
Or like the company is from there.
Yeah.
For some reason, Zuplex is really low. Like, I can't hear shit. That might be on my side. Hold on.
Yeah, raise your volume, bitch.
So I think the big bad for the Fantastic Four movie is still going to be Kang. And that introduces the Fantastic Four to the Avengers.
I mean, that kind of makes sense, though, right? Because Kang is going to be, he's going to be popping up all over the place, and they really, to establish him as a threat as big or bigger than Thanos, you really kind of need to show him causing a lot of problems for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think that we're getting 2 Avengers movies, right?
Right.
Kang Dynasty and
in the same year, which is bonkers.
So I think that Doom is the big bad for Secret Wars.
For Secret Wars, so I agree. I totally agree with you. I think Kang Dynasty is going to deal with Kang, and at some point in that movie, Doom is going to steal Kang's power or something, and then that's going to lead to Secret Wars, where everyone's basically trying to stop Doom. Not Kang. I don't think they're doing the 1986 version of Secret Wars. I think they're doing the 2015 version of Secret Wars. Now, you got to kind of go over what that means exactly, because I'm familiar with the older one, but I don't 100% know what the new one is.
I mean, I'm only basing this off of, like, Doctor Doom is the central villain in the 2015 Secret Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Basically, an incursion happens, worlds are colliding. Nick Fury tries to blow up another Earth so that it doesn't collide with Earth 616. The Illuminati's trying to get people off planet with a raft,
right?
Space raft of some sorts. They're successful in that, but it rips a hole. They created this new reality, basically creating a new battle world. Right. Now, we saw hints of this in What If.
Yes.
With the Ultron robots and the Marvel zombies behind the wall. That's basically Battle World from the 2015 Secret Wars.
Right.
The only difference was Doctor Doom was in charge of. Doctor Doom basically has his own Illuminati. Each person is in charge of a different sector of Battle World. But Doctor Doom has become God Emperor Doom. And he's in charge of basically everything.
Okay.
So I think Kang Dynasty brings the incursion. and Secret Wars brings Battle World with Doctor Doom.
So do you feel we're going to get more and more incursions like throughout other movies, or you think they're going to save the first real incursion for Kang Dynasty?
That's a good question.
I mean, they're not.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say because they introduced the incursion in Doctor Strange, right? So I think Doctor Strange 3 is going to elaborate more on the incursions that they mentioned previously.
But how do you how do you have Secret Wars without incursions already happening?
Well, I think
Secret Wars is the final movie of the phase. Doctor Strange, they have all these dates, blocked off. You could have Doctor Strange 3 in one of those.
That's
time
true.
frames.
So there are, for anyone who doesn't know, there are 8 untitled releases still. 2 for fall 2024, 2 for winter 2024, spring 2025. There's 2, summer 2025. There's 2. I think actually a winter 2025. So it's one winter 2024 and then a winter 2025. So there's 8 movies or releases, I should say, that haven't even been announced yet. So you're right, Doctor Strange 3 or whatever the follow-up could be. Maybe they call something else, but it explains it. Yeah.
I think we're going to see more incursions throughout Phase 6. I don't think we really see anything in Phase 5.
So
I think Phase 5 is more about setting up the Avengers.
So if Doom is, the big bad of Secret Wars, which is fine, and he's the Emperor Doom that you call him, wouldn't we need to see him more in previous films to kind of build him up,
so this is
rather than him just appearing like, hey, here I am?
Right, so that was my theory, is that we're going to actually be introduced to Doom earlier than Fantastic Four. Same way with Kang. Like, I think he's going to pop up maybe as like a cameo or an end credit scene, or it won't be like a major thing.
Thanos.
Like kind of like Thanos, but like where Kang is going to be more of a part of the movies across a bunch of movies. I think Doom will just be hinted at and cameoed in a bunch of movies.
So why wouldn't Doom be in New World Order then? Why can't
he could be? He could be. I just don't think he's going to be a main villain.
Early.
I think it'll just be like, let
but
me
he'll be,
introduce you to Dr. Von Doom, like kind of thing.
I think they're going to do breadcrumbs in Wakanda forever because it makes sense. Black Panther first showed up in a Fantastic Four.
Well, yeah, and Namor and Doom have a history on the comics.
And Namor and Doom have a history.
Maybe Sharon Carter is working for Doom.
Maybe she's working for Latveria. I think there's going to be breadcrumbs all up until Fantastic Four.
I agree.
I think Fantastic Four introduces Doom. I don't think he's the big bad of the movie.
So who do you think the big bad might be then?
I think Kang is.
You think Kang will be the big bad? That's possible.
Yeah, I think Kang is going to be the big bad of the Fantastic Four movie. They're going to fail to defeat him, and that's what starts off the road to Kang Dynasty.
You think they go Galactus as the bad guy for the first Fantastic Four? Or do you think they hold that for another day?
No, I think it's going to be Kang. I'm telling you.
I don't know if it's going to be Kang.
I think Kang's going to be the bad guy for Fantastic Four. I think that
So he's going to be the bad guy for Ant-Man, Fantastic Four, Loki.
See, I feel like that's why maybe a different variation of Kang. I can kind of see that. Or I think
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I think what we're going to see is other villains.
Kang dies in Ant-Man, and then it just variants off that.
He can't. How's he going to die in Ant-Man and they have Kang Dynasty as the?
Well, we
Avengers?
don't. Now, here's the thing, though. We don't 100% know that Kang in Ant-Man is Kang the Conqueror. We just know it's Kang. No, they
announced him as Kang the Conqueror.
Right, but it doesn't.
Jonathan Majors came out and said there will be conquering.
Right, but that's
in Ant-Man 3.
Multiple Kangs. Multiple Kangs try to conquer shit. That doesn't. Mean anything.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think that I think that they're going to use Kang as the big bad, and then Doom winds up being the real big bad.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, Doom is going to be the bad guy for Secret Wars, 100%. I don't think Kang carries over into that movie. I almost think that the end of Kang Dynasty is when we're going to see the end of Kang and Doom win, the same way we saw Thanos win, and it'll be like left open of like, oh, who survives and who fights lives to fight another day, and then that'll lead us into Secret Wars.
Or even Kang dies, but the incursion still happens, and they have to get off planet.
Right. I can see that happening too, for sure.
And then Doom creates Battle World. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's definitely a lot. I mean, we also don't know what the 8 other projects, and it's probably more than 8. Let's be real. It's more than likely more than 8 projects in that.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think that's just 8 that they know of now.
8 that they were able to lock down.
Yeah. I think that there's going to be other stuff that's going to be coming out as well. But I mean, we'll see.
Or X-Men and all that shit.
Yeah, I mean, they still haven't given us a roadmap to mutants at all. So
that's going to be that was the final question I wanted to pose to everybody in the group. So we know now, we obviously saw Professor X from Doctor Strange 2, confirmed he was the same Dr. X from the animated X-Men show, and they even confirmed it with the animated X-Men theme song. Next, we got Miss Marvel at the end. They confirmed that she's a mutant, and I guess their way of confirming...
They gave you the same animated...
Yeah, the same animated song.
Music.
They kind of gave us that to kind of let us know there's she's an actual mutant. Namor, I don't know if they're going to confirm it or not in Black Panther 2, but in the comics, he's considered the first mutant.
I don't think they're going that route.
Well, they might not be, but my question to you guys is, do you think we will, since, notably, like I said before, no Deadpool 3 announcement, no X-Men announcement, no mutant announcement, none of that stuff. Do you think that we basically get introduced to new mutants for the remainder of the multiverse saga?
Yeah.
And then at the end of Secret Wars, it's like at that point, they'll start to officially name drop X-Men.
I don't think so. I think we're going to get breadcrumbs, and then it's going to lead to an actual X-Men movie.
But in
Phase 6.
In Phase 6. Okay. So one of the unannounced movies you're saying might be an X-Men movie.
Yeah.
I think they're going to introduce the X-Men separately into separate movies.
Right. I don't think it's going to be X-Men. I think it'll just be, like the Wolverine movie or the Cyclops movie.
No. I mean, like Wolverine's going to show up in Captain America: New World Order.
Right. Or somewhere.
Yeah.
I do feel like they're going to...
Nightcrawler shows up in Blade or something. Right. However they end up doing it, they're like, okay, these guys all have powers, and then they get brought together in an X-Men movie in Phase 6.
I don't disagree. I think that they're going to treat the X-Men movie, the first actual named X-Men movie, as its own Avengers style movie. So I don't think we're going to get, like X-Men and then have like only a handful show up. I think it'll be, we'll be introduced to 7 of them, and then it'll be an X-Men team up movie where they all have to join forces and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think
I don't think we're
getting
a huge roster.
No, it might not be, but I mean, they clearly wanted to focus on the fact that the X-Men are coming back to the animated realm.
Fucking Gambit is all I care about.
See, I'm with you, Sight. Zuplex isn't a Gambit fan, but I'm a big Gambit fan. I think he could be a cool character.
I'm a Gambit fan. I just don't think, I don't understand everybody's why he's the one everybody wants to freaking see.
Just because he hasn't been there,
and he's a great character. Like he could be a phenomenal character if they
What's great about him?
Just his whole demeanor is different.
He's badass.
One thing about his backstory that you guys like.
We don't have any characters from Southern Louisiana.
Dude, he's smooth talking. He throws playing cards. They explode.
That's all we got, bro. Come on. You guys I want a Gambit movie.
Gambit, badass.
I love it.
Look, he's a cool character.
The card throwing's a cool gimmick.
Not even the card throwing. He could be as good as Wolverine. He could be as cool as Wolverine if done well.
Can't.
Absolutely could be. He's another character who's like a a lone wolf.
Steve looked like his neck was gonna pop off his head when you said that.
Oh wait, Steve's here. I didn't realize Steve jumped in. He hasn't said a word since he jumped in.
I'm just chilling.
I'm just saying.
I think Jubilee though deserves her own show. Maybe not a movie, but she deserves her own show.
Nightcrawler is a more.
But we got a good Nightcrawler. We don't need another one.
Yeah.
I mean, bring him in. I'm saying you bring him in, but
we don't have the backstory of Nightcrawler. You know what I'm saying?
We got enough of it next too.
There's a lot they could do with that character.
I want them to focus on the villains. I want to see Mr. Sinister. I want to see Omega Red.
We haven't done that though. Is what I'm saying. Is that with Nightcrawler, the fact that he's the son of Mystique and Azazel from the Hell Realm, and that he's the nephew of Mephisto, and that every time he teleports, he actually is teleporting through hell.
I wish they would actually do that, bring Mephisto in, because they tease him so much in WandaVision, and just there's no payoff to that.
Mephisto's just a meme at this point.
Yeah,
there is a very good chance that he is the whole reason that we're getting a show about Agatha Harkness.
I kind of feel like that's maybe the only reason why she's getting her own show. because otherwise it's just pointless.
I'd assume so. But the Darkhold's not there anymore, so like, why else are we getting a show about her?
Yeah,
it can only be to bring in Mephisto.
I agree.
Otherwise, it's the most pointless show that Marvel's giving us.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
I think her show is gonna rebuild the Darkhold. She's gonna piece together the stones.
Maybe, but
if that's what they do, I'm gonna be so annoyed with this goddamn.
We'll see what happens. But now, all right, let's we gotta end it, and I want to end it on a big question for you guys. What is? Oh wait, actually, hold on. I'm sorry. One more thing we have to go over before we end it. I just put up on the screen. There was a bunch of announcements. Scythe, you put up on the Facebook group a bunch of trademarks the day after San Diego Comic-Con ended. And let me just open up my picture here so I can read what I'm actually telling you guys. Where's the pictures? Hold the phone. Let me get there. Oh shit! What did I do? That's not what I wanted to do. So basically, for anyone who doesn't know, after San Diego Comic-Con, the day after, Marvel or Disney purchased a bunch of trademarks that they registered, and I just wanted to kind of quickly go over them to see what you guys thought of these. The first one is Avengers Eternity Wars. There's actually a few that to me seem like they were just purchased to hold on to them, but they're not going to lead to anything, and this is one of them. I don't know, does Eternity Wars mean we're going to see the cosmic entities like Eternity and all that stuff go at it? I mean, maybe I guess if they give us Galactus, if they actually give us Galactus, the only way to really make it seem like they can win that battle is by, getting some of the other cosmic entities to get involved. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that was one of them. There was Captain America, Red, White, and Black, which Zuplex, I think you mentioned on the Facebook group. This is essentially the title is based off a storyline that focuses on Isaiah Bradley. Yeah. I think that was the book that they put out for Isaiah Bradley, Captain America, basically. I think in the MCU it'll be more on his kid, but maybe it'll give us the history of Isaiah Bradley, and then almost like the first Captain America was back in time. This one will be back in time, kind of. I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be like a Vietnam era movie with him as the new Captain America. They also registered. They also registered Nomad, which it's just an interesting name to kind of hold on to.
Doesn't make a lot of sense, because Sam Wilson's going to become the Nomad now.
Who knows? I mean, they can always give that name to someone else, but I was thinking Bucky, because maybe he doesn't go by White Wolf. Maybe that's like his Wakandan thing, so he kind of changes it for like the government or something. I don't know. This one's big though. Celestials: End of Time. My opinion is that this is a sequel to Eternals.
Yes, I thought the same thing.
So I don't know that maybe they'll change the name by the time the movie comes out, but I think this is just kind of holding that title because it's going to be Eternals and the follow up to what happened in that movie. Then there's 3 Avengers titles that they trademarked. Avengers Excursion. This is after Eternity Wars, so it's 4 altogether. Avengers Excursion, Avengers Timeless, and Avengers Academy. I'm assuming Avengers Academy is going to be a Disney Plus show, and it's going to be about the young Avengers learning to be a team. But Avengers Excursion and Avengers Timeless, those are 2 interesting names. I don't really know what those might reference. So that'll be Avengers 7, essentially. Timeless, I have no idea. And they're kind of dealing with time now, right? So it almost seems like that's got to reference something else then.
Those seem like they're much closer than the rest of them.
Yeah, I agree. And then what's interesting is the next on the list, they trademarked the term Timeless Saga. So could that be referencing what the next saga will be? So we have the Multiverse Saga now. Infinity Saga was the first 3 phases. So maybe the phases what are we going to go up to 6? So phases 7, 8, and 9 or the Timeless Saga. There's Hercules Rise of the Gods, which is clearly the follow up to Thor: Love and Thunder, which is great. That probably makes me more excited than anything else.
It's gonna be insane.
I mean, that
100%. Hercules and Thor going at it, and then at some point teaming up to basically battle all the gods. Bang all the gods. Freudian slip. I knew you didn't get me on that one. They trademarked
according to Zeus, right?
Yeah. They trademarked Sam Wilson Captain America, which is kind of a weird thing to be on this list because I thought they would have trademarked that already. There's the Black Knight Origins, which we all knew that was coming. It's not really a giant surprise. You think it's going to be like the history of the Black Knight? It could be, or maybe it'll be both. Like they'll have Dane Whitman kind of learning about his history.
Like goes from person to person. So.
Right.
Could be Martin Lawrence.
Maybe Martin Lawrence, shows up in the medieval time. So, if they haven't made that movie yet, they should. Maybe there's the next one is Shang-Chi and the Wreckage of Time, which, again, we knew there was a sequel, but it's nice to see that they're actually making moves towards that sequel. Runaways New Era, which the first Runaways was garbage, so I don't really know why they're going to do a sequel unless they're going to reboot it completely.
I mean, I think they're just going to reboot it completely and just like a whole new Runaways team.
Right.
That might have more. I
agree. Maybe that'll be almost like the first team up movie with the mutants somehow. You know what I mean? Interesting. Red Guardian Generations, which is very interesting to me because that's a very much a secondary character in Black Widow, and they're trademarking his name specifically. So I don't know if they're going to have his own movie. I didn't think of that actually. That might be a
he might be in Thunderbolts.
And then last is Midnight Suns, which I know the three of us or the four of us have talked about over and over again. And it's just like one step further towards confirmation of a Midnight Suns movie, and that just gets me so excited. So excited. So I was wait. So before we get into that, that's actually an excellent segue because the final question I wanted to pose to you guys tonight was, out of everything that was announced, out of everything we got, what are the properties that you wanted them to announce or show or whatever that we didn't get? So Zuplex, you mentioned Armor Wars. That's a big one. I'm a giant War Machine fan. Right, they're all coming.
2019.
Mm-hmm.
Like they told us about all of these shows back in 2019, right? So they talked about all of them except for Armor Wars. Yeah. We have no date.
Right. Well, to Fred's point, there are some probably things that they haven't announced that are still going to come within Phase 5, and 6. So maybe they squeeze it in somewhere. I agree with you. I thought that was a kind of a slap in the face. Personally, I would rather that over the Ironheart show. Ironheart can wait until later. You know what I mean? I don't need that right
because it feels like it would.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Wars with Don Cheadle and put him in the Punisher War Machine armor.
Right.
Like that makes total sense to me.
That would be. I mean, talking about a nerdgasm on screen, man. That would be one of the greatest things ever. You know what I mean? For me, I'm surprised that we didn't get even a whiff or a hint of Deadpool 3. I'm really surprised. We know they're working on it. We know they're writing it. Like Ryan Reynolds is pushing it. Like there's so many little hints that something's coming, and it's a matter of time when they announce it. And I just thought they just released Deadpool 1, 2, and Logan on Disney Plus. Like, yeah. No, which is good. That's what we were all scared of, and they're proving us wrong. What's up, Scythe?
I think we'll get Deadpool 3 in Phase 6, and it'll happen before the X-Men. I think you'll start seeing...
Well, I think it'll happen for the X-Men. Yeah. Right. Oh, yeah. I feel like now... we got that one quick shot of the X-Men in Deadpool 2 with hidden in the room, and it was a big joke that they couldn't afford to pay everybody. But I think with Disney and Feige involved, the X-Men will actually be a much bigger part of Deadpool's story, I believe. What about you, One Shot? You got anything that you wish they announced that they didn't? You know, man, I shouldn't be surprised. A busy individual. All right, boys. We're at 2 hours and 12 minutes. I know I said I wouldn't clock watch, but I let us run for a very long time. So, to be perfectly honest, I'm tired and I want to go to sleep. But thank you guys.
About that time.
Thank you guys. Over 2 hours is our longest episode ever. Episode 50 of the Theater Room. This was a huge episode. Keep you guys, everyone in the chat, thank you for jumping in. If you're checking this out on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe for more of this kind of content, more of the reactions, more of the gameplay vids. We're kind of working on tons of things behind the scenes. We all very, very much appreciate all the love and support. The YouTube channel's at 565, maybe more at this point, subscribers, which is big for us. It sounds like it's a small number, I guess, but it's huge for us. And we have a big charity event that's going to be starting. Keep your eyes open for a big announcement on the Facebook group. Join the Facebook group if you haven't. GGEN, GGENetwork, or Generational Gaming and Entertainment Network. You can find us on all the socials, which are scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And if we missed any kind of topic or comment that you want us to talk about for San Diego Comic-Con, feel free to let us know, because we're always looking for more and more stuff. We love getting the community involved. And I will see you guys next Tuesday with the Theater Room. And Scythe, when's the next Multiversal podcast before we bounce? All right, so keep your eyes open this weekend for a new episode of the Multiversal podcast featuring your boy Scythe X, and possibly some more It Takes Two with me in One Shot, along with the epic battle between the Captain and Zuplex
Battle
City.
is coming.
So keep your eyes out also for a poll. We want everyone to donate for the charity event if you can. Any little bit helps, and let us know who you are voting for, who you want to win, and we'll see you guys next week.